Yo, yo, what's good with y'all? DPS podcast, we back once again. Thursday night, feeling all right. Me and Forte gonna fight? Probably not. We're probably not gonna. I think we're probably in step with a lot is going. What is that sound? Oh my! Why are we doing this? Why? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? No one knows what you're saying, bro. Have you gone full bot now? Have you gone full bot? Like I know, like you were an X bot before, but now you're like full bot. Like you, it's like you've transformed to ascended to a higher plane. Are you speaking to me in ones and zeros? What's happening? That's what I said yesterday. Oh, oh my ears! Stop! Please stop! Please stop! Please stop! Okay, this is DPS podcast episode 134. We are gonna have a great show as usual. We definitely gonna be talking about this PlayStation showcase. We're going to kind of switch it up a little bit, do a little differently than we usually have our biggest topic be the last topic to kind of save it for last, get the other ones out the way. I think because of how we normally approach a showcase, we usually go over each aspect of the showcase in chronological order, which I mean it's going to take a while. So we're going to do that first, and then get into the other topics later. My co-host, who thinks he's computer love over here or something, I don't know. He is Gaming Forte. What's up, bro?
Computer.
Oh, please. Okay.
Computer love. This is more entertaining than that showcase was yesterday.
It's not. It's really not. I mean, maybe it is for them, but for me, no. Like my ears that die. I'm turning my headset now. Good grief. Wait, no, though. Is my headset dying? great.
Oh
My
man, look,
headset
man, they didn't
is
charge it. That PlayStation, he put his headset, he took his headset off and didn't even charge it after
I
that.
sure
that
did.
showcase
Like
last
I
night.
just took it off. Was like, I can't deal with it. I can't. I
I
just
can't.
did not charge my headset. So it's my headset. Let me see if I can actually. Where do I have a cable that's long enough? Pause to reach my headset. This is gonna be really awkward. Because it's beeping at me, and I'm just like, why are you beeping at me?
Oh man, that's that. Yeah, man, you gotta treat those headphones with respect.
I need a longer pause cable to do this. It's not long enough.
Plus, Mom, you can plug it into my jukebox.
Please stop doing that.
Or do you like you want the large robot?
I don't want any robot. I just
Large robot. I love you, Slow-Mo. You are my best friend, and I love you more than that showcase. That showcase was something else. That showcase was something of dreams. Greatness awaited us.
You enjoy yourself, ain't you?
I very much am. Very much am.
Forte,
You know what?
Slow-Mo. But you know what? I'm gonna turn that off for a second.
Thank
you. Know what,
you.
though?
Thank you.
The one thing that I am here, this showcase has done nothing but one thing for me. You know what that is, Slow-Mo?
What's that?
It has confirmed one thing. It has confirmed that Tears of the Kingdom will in fact win Game of the Year because they had nothing there. Spider-Man is a good thing. We won't talk about it. We'll get into it, but man, I don't know, man.
They should have
Put it this
never
way.
gave.
I've been hearing a lot of people. I've been hearing a lot of people say, Phil Spencer got lucky. He's keeping his job because of this showcase. It's bad out here, bro.
Hey, well, look, man. I think we'll get into it. I think Spider-Man 2 was impressive. So I mean that was always going to be the game this year that was going to be somewhat competition for. We know Zelda's going to win regardless, but like Spider-Man 2 is
definitely know now.
It's the showcase didn't change that. None of them games that was going to, even though people wanted to see more, there was nothing that we were going to see from that showcase that was coming out this year. Outside Spider-Man 2 that we already knew of. But
what was the name of that? The Haven game? Free what? What was it called?
Fair Games. We'll get into all that. Forte,
what have you been? Anyway, so we'll get into that. But no, I've been good, Slow-Mo. I came home from work. Well, first of all, I had to take my car to the dealership. I dropped it off at the dealership because every Christmas tree in my car came on. It was like just everything lit up, and I was like, "Oh no!" So took it to the dealership. It's been there since Monday, Slow-Mo. It is now Thursday. I got a diagnosis yesterday. They told me that my speed sensor's out. I have a ball bearing that's kind of worn on one side. My driver's side seatbelt has a malfunction. That's why the seatbelt light came on. So I need a new seatbelt and I need front brakes. So I was like, good God, man, this is like 2019. I said, well, I understand the brakes because, 40,000 miles on the truck in 4 years. That's kind of understandable to need to change the brakes. But I'm sitting there. So they said, we got to send it in because I got a warranty, the extended warranty on my truck. And they said, we got to send it in and make sure that the insurance company covers it. That was yesterday, Slow-Mo. I have a feeling that I'm going to be without my vehicle through the whole entire holiday weekend because they're not going to call me back tomorrow and tell me to come pick it up. I'm not going to get my car back till Tuesday. I will be willing to bet money on that at this point. So that's how my week has been so far, Slow-Mo. But other than that, it's been good playing games, chilling, hanging out with the homie.
What games have you been playing?
Oh, what games have I been playing? Tears of the Kingdom. I played a little bit more Jedi Survivor, like just mucking my way through that one. I started playing what is it called? Death's Door on the Switch. It's so good on there. I mean, I forgot it released on the Switch finally. So I played it on there. I played some Code of the Lamb on the Switch. I picked up because Nintendo has had a sale recently, so I picked up a lot of the little indie games. And I'm starting to realize that handheld is kind of where I want to play my indie games and stuff at, because I feel like it's more of the, I can pick it up and just play it how I want to. I think that's why Hades did so well on the Switch, because it's one of those games where it's a 15-20 minute run. You could do it right there on your Switch wherever you're at, and you can just put the game down and come back to it, versus, you know, a lot of people, when they sit down at their TV or sit down at their PC, you're kind of looking to play something more intimate, something more involved. And I'm not saying that people don't play, because I know you play a lot of indie games and stuff on your PC and stuff. So I know people do it, but for me, I play more now of indie games on my Switch than anything else. And I've been kind of diving back into that, but the majority of my time has been in Tears of the Kingdom. I did jump into Destiny on Tuesday and Wednesday, because the new season of Deep just started. We're going deep sea diving this season. So it did some other stuff happen in Destiny that we'll talk about later on. But yeah, other than that, man, I've been having fun, and I was super happy to be on the stream with you yesterday. Shout out to Ramon Terrell and Eric Jackson for coming through and hanging out with us. They're always great guests and always great times to hang around with. So the week has been great, Slow-Mo, and we're here for DPS with these fine people. What about you?
I agree with all of that, except that we are not talking about Destiny. I mean,
Well,
we're going to talk.
Destiny showed up, so you have to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it very briefly, but we ain't
But it was
going
two
into deep. We are
trailers.
not going into deep. That one of them wasn't a Destiny trailer.
But when you talk about Bungie, you talk about everything Bungie.
No, that's not happening.
Why you think people are gonna play Marathon? Bungie's gameplay. They're shooting. But go ahead, Saloma. Let's go.
I found the cable. That's long enough. Let's go. All right.
Have you been looking for a cable for the
Okay,
last
so
20
that's good. That's good to know, bro. What I've been doing. Let's see.
Yeah, what
I
you
have
doing?
been. I think I said this yesterday, but I've been playing this game, and it's called me. The name is long, is super long here. Paranormicite. The 7 Mysteries of Hanjo is what I've been playing.
Oh, yeah, you
And
did
it's
say that.
actually a pretty cool game. It's kind of like the Phoenix Wright, those Phoenix Wright games, you know, those like law games, so to speak,
Mhm.
where it's like you got a investigation and you're trying to solve a mystery or solve a
Mhm.
case. It's kind of like that, but it's pretty good. I like it. And I've been hold on.
Uh-oh, what
Not
happened?
here Forte no more. Forte, say something.
Did you just mute me for it?
Oh
bro?
no. What happened? I can't hear him.
I don't know what happened. Can they not
Give
hear me?
A second. This is
Slow-Mo done broke the stream. y'all.
Forte, hold on. Let me fix something. I don't know why. Switched. Oh, I know why it switched. Okay, Forte,
Oh,
speak.
almost fucked.
Forte.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Okay, you guys can hear him, but I can't hear him. That's crazy.
Oh.
This is happening.
So, speaking
Dang,
of which, you know, while we're waiting for Slow-Mo to fix his problems, let me talk to you.
Oh,
You know,
okay. Headset turned
let's-
off. It died.
Let's have a
There it is.
I'll
There
have
it
a
is. Okay, we're back. We're back.
Are we back now, Slow-Mo?
Forte, please stop.
I gotta entertain the people, man.
We
gotta
get
talk
it. You got a soundboard. We're happy for you. Turn it off.
hold on.
Turn it off. Okay, turn it off.
Hold the line, people.
No, don't hold the line.
Hold the line.
Hold the soundboard.
Showcase, the PlayStation Showcase is definitely proof that you need to. We will hold the line. All right, I'm done.
I'm seriously about to mute you. Like,
Hold the line.
it is that close. I'm about to mute you.
All right, let's go, man.
All right, look. So, been playing that game Paranormal Sight. I'm at the end of it. I think it's the difference between this and like Phoenix Wright is that Paranormal Sight is more of a like horror mystery game. And you take control of like probably about 4 different characters all throughout it. The story is actually pretty interesting. Takes place in Japan. It's got a lot to do with like folklore and curses and demons and stuff like that. So it's like it's pretty interesting. It was published by Square Enix, and they gave it as much of a budget as somebody may have given Starbucks, for lunch. But basically, they gave it nothing. They didn't give it anything, and the game definitely deserved a bigger budget than what it ended up getting. All that said, it's not a bad game. Not a bad game at all. I probably have it finished. Maybe if I get a chance to play it tonight, I might have it finished tonight. And if not tonight, then I'll probably have it finished tomorrow. And then I'll get into playing the Forspoken DLC that I've had access to, I think, since probably about Wednesday, but I haven't had the opportunity to actually get into it yet. But that's it. I think I want to shout out some people in the chat real quick before we start getting into our big topic. But shout out to Deathloid, Mishi Dies a Lot, Spider 13, Sunny Slim, Stanley Francois, Rethardio, I think I said that right. Ramon Terrell, the homie. Good to see Ramon. Dr. Dry Rub? What in the world?
Dry Rub.
Erodimus. Shout out to Erodimus. And Vaccine. What's up, y'all? Yeah, so should we just get into the showcase? What do you think?
We should.
Okay.
Get into it.
So this showcase, yesterday we had the PlayStation showcase that has been nearly 2 years since we've had a showcase. Nearly 2 years. And in that time period, everyone kind of expected, like, by the time we do get a showcase, it's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. We're all going to love it. They're going to be showing everything that they've been holding back all this time. Yada, 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 right? And, I mean, it kind of didn't turn out that way. I mean, it really didn't turn out the way we thought it would. First, I would say, let's talk about it in general before we get into the games. Forte, what were your thoughts on the whole showcase?
So you want the end results of the showcase for me?
Yeah, I mean, let's just a general thought about the showcase, and then we'll get into like each game in general, and so that people can really. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone has seen it, but we can give our thoughts on each game and what was shown. And because I mean, a lot of it was, stuff that's going to be on everything.
If I had to give you a synopsis of this showcase, I can sum it up in less than 10 words. This is a showcase that didn't need to happen. Everything that was shown here, most except for Spider-Man, Spider-Man was really, really good. But everything that they pretty much show here could have been in a blog post that they could have posted online with links to trailers to go see all of this stuff. Because the Spider-Man part could have been a state of play that they just dedicated a state of play. And they're going to probably do that anyway later on. So that could have just like been a state of play. And everything else could have been its own, like all the rest of the stuff could have been a state of play altogether. The way that they announced some of the games, like MGS3 could have been, it was so underwhelming. It was like half the time you were like, what is this? Is this like I remember you were talking about, what's this parrot flying through the sky? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I think this is MGS3. And it was, but it was like so underwhelming how they did it. And that's kind of how the whole showcase came off for me. It was like a lot of good announcements, but none of them really hit. Like that's kind of the thing that we always say about all these different showcases. Like, you can have you can throw a bunch of stuff out there, but if it doesn't grab your attention, like, oh my God, I can't believe they announced that, or they showed this, or wow, this is something I didn't expect, it kind of falls flat. And especially, I think most of it comes from the fact that it has been 2 years since the last showcase. And a lot of people up here saying, well, you know, PlayStation didn't promise you all this. A lot of people had these expectations that they were going to get the sun and the moon. And when they didn't even when they didn't even leave the atmosphere, now you want to be upset. Well, that's kind of the expectation when you don't find a way to leave the atmosphere in the last 2 years. We kind of want to see what everybody is working on.
And your last showcase was really, really good.
Your last shows were really good. And then the thing is, people aren't talking about is right now, Sony has they have a bunch of studios, but they have like 24 unannounced things, like some stuff that's announced, but a lot of unannounced things that all these studios are working on. Like we got, you know, Santa Monica's working on the second game. We got Naughty Dog they're not just working on factions, they're working on something else too. So there's a whole bunch of games and a lot of studios out here that are working on other projects that we know nothing about. And you're telling me that you couldn't show any of it. So that's kind of my overall take of the show, but we could talk about the individual things as we go through and what we liked and what we, you know, how we felt about it. But I just felt like CGI.
You want to silence your phone, bro? I mean, hearing half your phone more than you. Go ahead, continue.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No. Yeah, but I think that's for the most part how I kind of felt about it. I feel, you know, that it was, I won't say incomplete. It's just not what I wanted, and it's not what a lot of people wanted.
I got you. Yeah. I would say it's definitely not what I wanted. I was extremely hyped for this. I was expecting to see new IP. And when I say new IP, I don't mean new live service IP. I did expect to see that. I think that was a given. But what I was more excited to see was hopefully new IP and new games that are the cream of the crop, their bread and butter, so to speak, what they do best. And yeah, they did deliver on what I wanted from Spider-Man 2. But I mean, we'll get into that once we get to Spider-Man 2. But it's just, I think the general sentiment that the show was a disappointment, and it's okay to be disappointed. I've seen a lot of like people in the community, but this happens all the time, right? Where there's a showcase and a platform holder does not live up to expectations with the showcase, and there's always a segment of people that are just like, "Oh, you guys' expectations were too high." Don't ever let anyone tell you your expectations are too high.
Right.
No, your expectations are what you want from your platform that you spend money on, that you would like to see. Those are your expectations. They're not too high. And especially when it's things that like essentially that the platform has already done in the past, things that they have hinted that they're working on, things that they have said that they are going to deliver on. Yeah, you have a right to be disappointed when those things aren't delivered. Shout out to Dario with the becoming a 10%. Thank you for becoming a member, sir. Appreciate you. Let's get into it, man. So the first game that came up, right? First game was Fair Games. And so Fair Games is the game that Haven is working on. And this game is a heist game. So one, it wasn't it was all CGI trailer, no actual gameplay. So we don't know exactly what it looks like. We don't know if it's first person perspective. We don't know if it's third person perspective. We don't know how many people are on your team. We don't know if it's 3-player co-op, 4-player co-op. Clearly, like it looks like it may be PvPvE, which means like you're going up, like you have a goal, so you're fighting NPCs in addition to another team as well. That's not necessarily Payday, but it's my vision of what this was. upon like looking at the trailer was like Payday 2 in combat, but like Watch Dogs in the theme and the story and the whole point of everything. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of feeling a little weird about it. Forte, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, when I saw the game, I was like, "Oh, this looks cool," but then I was like, "Oh no, this is a CGI trailer." And as much as I say of all the games that they did show trailers for, I think this probably did the best job in showcasing what the game could be about.
Mm.
But once again, you know, it's it just it's left to interpretation. Like I heard you say something on Brap yesterday, and shout out to you and B Money and Enrique. When I was listening to it, you brought up the fact that if I have to leave your game or leave your trailer to go find out information about your upcoming game, you're not doing it right. And I kind of
Yeah.
think that is the biggest problem that I had with this one. I like the fact that they did showcase the game. They did a good job in showing what it could be.
Mhm.
But in general, I think it's kind of just a miss when it comes to like what everybody kind of wanted to see in a showcase that hadn't taken place in 2 years. And that's kind of the consistent thing that goes across this show. But I liked what they show. It got me interested, but I just don't know. It's not enough to, I have to go out, like you say, go outside the game to get the information I need to know that the game is truly about. This probably would have been the best game for Jay Raymond to come out on the stage and say, this is what this game is after the fact. I'm not saying every developer needed to do that, but that would have been a really good point for her to do, especially with them being first party now, to come on stage 30 seconds, 45 seconds to say what this game actually is, what it's like, based on and stuff like that. And I think that would have kind of made it sell a little bit better. I don't think it was a bad reveal. I just think that it was a reveal that kind of needed more context. But it did the best of all the ones they did show.
Yeah. It's I would say at least for as teaser trailers go, this isn't a bad teaser trailer. Like you understand the point and theme of it. Like I've seen worse teaser trailers. A lot of them are, we've spoken about before. And one of them in particular we're going to see in coming up in the showcase. Sometimes it's just like you're looking at it and like, what was the point? What is this game? I don't know what the purpose of the game is, and you don't get that purpose at all until they actually do some kind of explanation for it. Now, Jay Raymond comes highly recommended because she was one of the key creators for Assassin's Creed, which is a huge IP for Ubisoft. But we do have to recognize that like Jay really hasn't come out with any games in like a decade. Like she hasn't delivered on a game in so long. Like she was working at EA and they never delivered a game before her studio was closed down and she started working for Google. And although that whole situation with Google is completely out of her hands because Google shut down all their first party studios once they realized the kind of investment they were going to have to make in order to really be any kind of player in the gaming industry, which is all on Google's lack of preparation and not on anything else. But that's not her problem. But what I'm saying is that like just because she really hit on one game over a decade ago doesn't mean that she still definitely got like the juice. She still definitely got.
Saw some people fall race before.
Exactly. So I mean, I'm not saying that like she's not going to deliver or her studio Haven isn't going to deliver, but we gotta pump the brakes a little bit on the mentality that her game is definitely going to be good.
Right.
It's a live service game, so it needs to find an audience. And the game is definitely going to be coming out on PlayStation 5 and PC when it does release. Now, what I find to be a little problematic is that we don't see gameplay for this, but this is probably one of those games that they anticipate to come out next year. And I kind of feel like if you can't show gameplay at this stage, then the game likely shouldn't come out in 2024. It should be a 2025 game. I generally like to see a game at this stage where I'm getting like a teaser trailer or a kind of like an explanation of what the game is, kind of like a reveal trailer, as what you show when the game is like 2.5 years to 3 years out. First year, you show something like this. The next year, you show some gameplay. Then the third year, the year you're going to launch the game, you show a huge blowout of everything that's about the game, and then you release it. And it's just like, I don't see how this is going to be coming out next year, but we'll see. I mean, like, they did just acquire them, so clearly PlayStation is they are pleased with the progress that Haven has made, and Bungie is pleased with the progress. That's one of our topics.
Yeah, they must be.
You know, because Bungie apparently is a part of the vetting process. But anything else you want to say about this one before we move on?
No, man, just, you know, I think a lot of people, I think this is one of the games that probably people were most interested in, and, you know, CG trailers really don't tell the story.
Yeah.
So.
And of course they opened up with their own game. Like this is,
of course, which I'm glad they did.
Right. But then that kind of, we know how these shows go, right? These shows, the way they work, they open the show with one of their own games. Not the very best game of the show, but maybe like the second best game of the show, the third best game of the show. But it's a unique game that's only going to be a part of their platform or ecosystem. The fact that you don't have any gameplay in this kind of show really kind of like should have given us the hint of what kind of show this is going to be, but I digress. Let's move on. Next was Helldivers 2, which the first Helldivers I believe is in PlayStation Plus, I believe. So it's available right now. I've never played it. Have you played Helldivers, Forte?
I did not.
Okay.
So I'll rely on you to tell me.
I don't know anything about the game. It ain't. I've never played it. I've never really seen much of interest in it at all. And I'm someone that plays a gazillion live service games, but I didn't. Yeah. But I mean, this one definitely visually looks like a glow up compared to the first game. The first game came out in 2015. But this one will be coming out this year for PS5 and PC at the same time, which makes sense. You know, you want to make sure to try to get as many people on it as possible. Are you interested in playing this one? At least the trailer gave us a mix of gameplay and cinematic, so at least there's that.
It did do that. I do think that game was probably a little bit more promising. I do like the fact that I don't know if they're going to have third-person perspective in this game other than top down, because it looks like they're going to do a mixture of over the top, which the game truly actually was at first. You know, it was a top down type isometric shooter and stuff. So I don't know if they're going to still do that and like merge it with the first person aspect or third person aspect, but I actually like something like that if they do it. I don't know. It really just comes down, that game is real long too. Like it's like one of those never ending games kind of. So it's really better if you got people to play it with. The thing is, are you going to have enough people to want to play that consistently all the time? So that's kind of where that game.
Well, I assume if Helldivers has a dedicated community, that this game is probably going to have a good portion of that community move over to it.
Right.
So I think it probably would be, out of all the live service games that we saw yesterday, it may be the one that might have the most chance of being successful, just due to already having a built-in player base because it's a sequel. And if it performs well and it actually, you know, does what you want from a sequel, which is advance the good sections of it and then shore up the weaknesses, then you know it might turn out to be a good game.
Right.
Next was Immortals of Avium, which is from EA and Ascendant Studios. This is coming out July 20th for everything, basically PC, Xbox, and PS5, except for the Switch, because you know Switch ain't running this. That's not
So
possible.
the Switch ain't a game system. What you're about?
No, I just said it's not running this. That's all I said. Now I've been interested in this because it kind of reminds me of like I mean I guess combat wise you could I understand a lot of people viewing it like it reminds them of Ghostwire Tokyo, which I didn't like, but for some reason I just get a Destiny vibe from it, but like in a good way, not in like how much Destiny sucks kind of way. But I want to give it a shot. I mean, like I still have my EA Play Pro subscription. I'm probably going to jump in there. What about you?
I'll definitely jump in there. It does look really interesting. I mean, it's not the. I mean, honestly, they didn't really show us a lot to make you really want to, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
But that was one of the few games that I saw that I was like, oh, this is actually pretty interesting. I do like the aesthetic of this one. It just comes down to like it didn't wow me, but it was something that was on at the showcase where I'm like, oh, I can see myself actually playing that. It was like I said, it was like 2 or 3 games that I would definitely want to play at the showcase. That was one, well, not definitely that I would be interested in playing, and there was like one solid one that I'm like, yeah, I'm done. But
Yeah, yeah,
this was on the list.
you know, something that kind of like jumped in my head. Oh, now I mentioned y'all saying it's a looter, and I absolutely like, you know how I if it's a good looter, I'm down for it. You know, like
Yeah.
not all looters aren't created equal. Like
Yeah, all looters are Destiny. You're right.
yeah, some of them are a lot better.
But they don't get the support like they're better now.
Well, you know that also isn't necessarily earned by Bungie either. Anyway, I do think that we so I accept because I believe this game is running on Unreal Engine 5. I believe that might be problematic. I have a feeling here. This game is going to perform as far as like actual game performance. It might be a bit rocky. I say that based upon like the fact that the studio is kind of an unknown studio, Ascendant Studios. Like, who the heck are you? You've got all these actors that they got in the game doing all this mocap. The budget's real high, and usually newer studios have a harder time trying to balance issues, balance like problems with performance, being quick to deal with community issues with the game, that kind of stuff. And then I also kind of don't want, like, if this is a looter, but then like I want it, like, how big is the game really? Like how much?
Good point.
Yeah, there's a lot I don't know about it, and it really I feel like it came out of nowhere. Like 2 months ago, no one knew this game existed, and then it just like appeared out of nowhere, and then now it's coming out in like less than 3 months, which is something that EA hasn't. This hasn't been the first time EA has done stuff like this. Like they shadow dropped Apex Legends once upon a time, but Apex Legends was made by Respawn, who has a little bit more of a pedigree than
they also had the
Ascendant
pockets
Studios.
of EA behind them in order to get all those streamers to be playing that game the day it launched to get a lot of people excited for it.
Well, I mean, this studio has EA too. I mean, it's still published by EA. Maybe that's something they might do again. Get a bunch of streamers,
Hopefully.
pay a bunch of streamers to play it to get people looking at it. You know,
it definitely worked when they did it with Apex.
All right. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna give it a shot. What about you, Forte? Are you gonna play it?
Don't know.
Okay.
The way I look at it, when it comes to live service, there's probably 1 game, maybe 2 of all the live service games that I would do, just because it just, until I find something. The thing about live, this, Slow-Mo. The thing about live service games, you have to find something it has to be able to replace the ones you're playing.
Right.
Like if you're still indebted and playing particular live service games consistently, you're not going to have time to even think about playing the other one. So you almost have, it's like they have to cannibalize each other. One has to be better it like you said it really well. You was like, what are you doing that this one isn't doing that I'm already playing that makes me want to play it every day? Are you doing something different? If you're not and you're doing the same thing, why should I play you? So that's kind of the thought process when you said that I kind of take with that. So it's not that this is not it's not that it's bad. It's just that there's so much competition in that space. It's hard to like, especially if you want to have like a normal life. You're gonna be playing one or two different games, and that's the thing these live service games are kind of hitting on and trying to prey on at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Whether it really hits or not, I think it's gonna really depend on the uniqueness of its gameplay and with them being able to kind of keep up with what a live service is kind of needing, which is constant updates, a roadmap, all that other stuff. Like that's, especially if you're trying to go like the Destiny route, where it's a combination of multiplayer, PvP, PvE, in addition to a consistent new content coming out. Like you need I don't know how big Ascendant Studios is, but Bungie is nearly 1,000 developers, and they still needed support studios to help them do their content. So yeah,
very much so.
Yeah. Moving on. The next game was Ghost Runner 2, which I'm actually I kind of feel like Ghost Runner came out like a year or two ago. Like, how was it already there's a sequel? But whatever. All right, it's being published by 505 Games, developed by One More Level, and it's looks like this one is at least a console exclusive, or maybe a timed exclusive. Did Ghost Runner, the first one, come to Xbox? I don't know if it did or not.
I don't think so. I think it was PlayStation and PC.
Oh, so all right, so it's always been just PC and PlayStation. Cool.
I don't remember seeing it on Xbox.
Yeah, but like this wasn't an easy game. If you get hit one time, you're dead, and you gotta kind of like start off at the checkpoint. But like it's a pretty cool game, visually very impressive. Like we're talking about the first game, I just couldn't get into it because it was just so. It's like one of those movement games, and I've played some of them that are okay like that, but I just couldn't. I couldn't really jive with this one. I can't remember if I paid for it. I think I did buy it on PC. But this one, I mean, the fact that it got a sequel shows that it was pretty successful for what it is. Forty, did you ever play Ghost Runner?
I did not. I did not play it. I didn't even know it was a thing until when they showed this trailer. I was like, "Hey, I didn't play the first one. I forgot."
Correction, in the chat. Thank you, RK. Ghost Runner 1 is on Xbox, so I guess
it is on Xbox.
So I'm thinking this is probably a timed exclusive for PlayStation, which they make their deals.
I'm trying to remember if I saw a case of it at my store. I think I did, but I wasn't 100%.
It wouldn't even surprise me. This apparently there was a physical copy, but it wouldn't even surprise me if a game that was like this small didn't even have physical copies, But I'm gonna pass on this one. I'm not really interested in it, but I can certainly understand some people like
that
it.
on the first one. You were like that on the first one.
I couldn't get with it. It wasn't. It was. I can't remember. I'll probably have to play it again to really like pinpoint what it was that I didn't like about it. But it was something about the gameplay I didn't really care for. But
okay, got you.
Anyway, let's talk about something I did really like. Phantom Blade Zero. So, this game kind of came out of nowhere, and it's being made by a Chinese developer called S Game. It looks really good, but I don't know if this is like one of those games from a Chinese developer where they're really just trying to get people on, like, really hyped for something so that they could then make the game. Like, it's more of a tech demo, because it seems like if you take like Black Myth Wukong or just any or Lost Soul Aside. Lost Soul Aside, when we first saw it, it was being made by one guy. And then once everyone was hyped for it, and we were like, oh man, like, I can't wait to play that. Then he got a team to help him make the game. And then here we are, like that game's supposed to come out on the PS4.
Right.
And here we are like 3 years into the generation of the PS5, and we still don't have that game.
Nope.
It's still not shown. And does it show up for China Hero Project shows? And we just don't know anything about it. So although this one looks awesome, I'm a little leery because it's like I don't quite know if it's going to be something that's going to materialize anytime soon. They didn't give a release date, a release year, or anything on this, but it looks amazing. And I think I saw some people wondering what aspects of it was true combat, and I think what they did was they played the game, but they removed the HUD, and then they also detached the camera so that they could like they played it and then they replayed it with no HUD and camera kind of panning around and things like that to make it more cinematic. So it really is gameplay, but it just doesn't seem that way because you don't know what your health is, what your enemy's health are, blah 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 blah, right? So that's why I think why some people seem to be skeptical of it. But Forte, what were your thoughts on this one?
It looks so cool. The thing about the animation, it's like I'm so weird. Like they had so perfect animations in this game.
Yeah.
And it's like it seemed like it was almost a set piece on rails. So it's like I really
seems like it's too good
know,
to be true, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It was like, man, these animations look so good. How much of it is you actually having control of the character versus it being taken away from you? But the aesthetic alone got me super interested. I was like, this is a very, very fast-paced moving game, and anybody that likes that Devil May Cry style gameplay where it's just super fast and super in your face, I think that's what this is really going to go for. So this is like one of those games I'll say, yeah, I'm definitely interested in what this game has to offer, and definitely going to jump in there to see it. Well, I won't say I'm jumping there day one. I definitely am looking forward to seeing what more they're going to show in this game, because it looks so cool. I just want to know how much of it you actually have control of it. Is these like custom moves and stuff? Like it would be cool if it's like stuff that you unlock to get certain abilities and stuff. But some of this stuff,
I imagine it's more along the lines of like you kind of do something and it like it goes through a series of moves when you do it.
You hit a button and then it does it.
Yeah, like so, like the parts where like he's doing the whole thing where he's trying to swipe at the enemy's legs and the enemy's blocking the blows with his own blade. Like I kind of, it's hard to explain, but I kind of feel like a lot of that stuff was that kind of thing. Anyway,
right.
Next up was Sword of the Sea, which is being developed by the same developer of The Pathless. This ain't for me.
No.
Yeah, it's not for me. Like skateboarding on sand dunes, that might be cool for some people. Maybe people who like Tony Hawk, but I don't care for this game. No. This is where we got to the part of the show that I feel lasted too long, where we got way too many indies, way too many like AAA games. When we did see AAA games, there were games that we already saw, and games that like were just marketed games that Sony had an obligation to show at the time. But it was just like this period lasted way too long. What are your thoughts about Sword of the Sea, man?
When I saw this game, I was like, yep, moving on. I was like, I think this is where I walked away and went up while you guys were talking. I walked upstairs to get a sandwich.
Wow, so you didn't even
I think
see
that's
this
where
one.
I was like,
Wow.
yeah, this is the indie section that I don't care about. It's not that we don't care about indie games. It's just
No,
that,
you don't care about indie games. You just admitted
don't
it.
nobody care about indie games at this show. Like this is not what we came to this show for.
If it's an amazing, oh my god, I've never seen anything like this before kind of indie game, yeah, go ahead and show it. And it's exclusive to your platform. Go ahead and show it on the showcase. If it's not that, then like save that for a state of play, in my opinion. Next was the Talos Principle 2. I did not play the Talos Principle 1, but apparently it was critically acclaimed. Came out about, I don't know, almost a decade ago. But it's a puzzle game, and I ain't playing puzzle games, so that is a negative for me. What about you, sir?
What is this game again? What's the name of it?
It is called the Talos Principle 2.
No.
We
You know how many other games there are? Like, there was way more games on that list of other games they showed that I would play before this.
of course they ain't
And
playing
this is coming to
games,
Xbox, so
this one is. This is one of the ones that's coming to Xbox.
this is one of the ones that Xbox tweeted out, say, "Hey, this is a great group of games, isn't it?"
Oh man,
It looked good. I mean, but
visually,
but
yeah.
again,
But I mean, it's a
it looks
freaking
good.
puzzle
But once
game.
again, what are we doing?
Yeah, you're showing puzzle games out here.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Now this one I will probably end up playing. This one is called Neva. I'm probably not pronouncing it right, but whatever. But it's made by Giant Squid. Giant Squid made Gris, which was a side scroller that came out. I think it initially came out on the Switch and PC, and eventually came over to Xbox and PlayStation. But that game is it's a dynamite side scroller. I don't even like side scrollers like that, and I just couldn't put that game down. Played through it, loved it. Gris has like this, and I can see it in this game in Never. You can kind of see with the way that the game kind of shows, like it tells its story through its animation and cinematics. Like that, no one ever speaks, no one talks, there's no dialogue, but it's all about like showing you this really emotional tale by its animation and depicting it in that manner, and it did a great job in that. And Gris told a very, very powerful story, and I think they're a talented developer. I think this game is definitely I can understand this game being here. I think, although I think a lot of people probably overlooked it, I understand it being at the showcase because the developer is that talented. What are your thoughts, bro?
I mean, very talented. Once again, another game that I care to play.
Got you. I think we might have. You think you might have more to say about this next one though?
Oh, what is it? Street Fighter?
No.
The Street Fighter did come before that, but go ahead.
No, this is when people definitely started to roll their eyes. Square Enix.
Oh my God!
Came out with their own take of Splatoon called Foam Stars. So, but you're not using paint, you're using foam and bubbles. Okay, so it's different. The same, but different. So Foam Stars is definitely a live service game being developed by Square Enix. I'm just keeping the buck. This game is dead already. They should save their money and not even release this, because it's not going to get an audience. Like I bought Splatoon earlier this week, so I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I want to play Splatoon, but you've played Splatoon, Forte. You can speak on this. Is there enough here? Now, it's kind of hard to tell because it's a mix of cinematics, and then like the funny is when you see the cinematics, then you see the actual gameplay. You're like, good grief! Like even Splatoon looks better than this.
That's
game.
what I said. I said Splatoon looks better than this.
But is there enough here that's different? Because this is remember what we always said about live service games. In order to have a successful live service game, you need to provide something that's familiar but different.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be something that an audience could already kind of like, oh, I know what that's like. I'm cool with that. But then it's different enough that they say, you know what? I like what this game does better than that other game. Is there enough here with Foam Stars to actually take maybe the Splatoon audience away? What do you think?
Is this coming to the Switch?
Probably not. I don't know for certain.
No.
I think all we know for certain is it's coming to PlayStation.
No,
and PS4 and PS5.
Oh yeah, so it's not even. Was it one of those games? Is it coming? We're about to see right now. Does it say PC at the bottom of that list?
No, it didn't.
So
It didn't.
no, it's not. So I just think Splatoon. It took a while for Splatoon to even pick up. Like when Splatoon, the first one first came out, it wasn't like this game that everybody was clamoring to jump in and play because everybody said the same thing that we're saying about Foam Stars now. They had to iterate on it. They had to take feedback from people on it in order to get that game to the point where it is now, where it's pretty incredible and it's like one of the best, third-person shooters out there. Is Square going to take the time to do this? We know how Square is. If something ain't bursting at the seams with popularity right off the bat, it's a failure.
It's a failure. It failed to meet expectations, and it's
so
dead.
How long is this game?
On.
Yeah, so how long is this game going to even be viable? Because a lot of people are going to jump into a game like this and want to try it out and play it, and they may like it, but if a lot of more people don't do it, Square's likely to say, "Hey, we ain't got the time and the manpower to keep putting money into this, and we're not getting a return on investment." So that's kind of where I feel that this game kind of has an uphill battle, because at least with Splatoon, you buy the game and that's it. You just buy add-on expansions for that game. It doesn't have a monetization gain outside of buying expansions and extra content that comes out for the game. You don't buy skins and stuff like that. You can buy amiibos, I guess, that enhance the popularity of what you're doing in the game. Yeah. But in general, you just play the game and that's kind of it. So it also just comes down to, if it's not on PC, I don't feel like it's going to get a big enough following for people to want to jump into it too. I could be wrong about that, but I just feel like for like Foam, it just seems so, I don't know, man. It's like if you're not on the wave when it happens, it kind of feels like you missed it already.
Yeah. And that is how it works sometimes with some like particular live service games. And we said this about Ubisoft a lot. Ubisoft is always trying to do what other people do, but they don't make it different enough to make it unique enough for people to jump on, and they kind of miss the wave where people don't really care for that, because like, all right, I already got that game. I'm playing it all the time. I'm playing it right now. I don't need to play your version of it, Ubisoft.
Right.
So Square Enix seems to be similar in that way to me when it comes to their forays into this arena. They just keep trying to do what other people do instead of doing something unique. So anyway, another game is that like something that I didn't even really know was really a thing. The Plucky Squire, which is being published by Devolver Digital. I've seen a lot of people are excited for this one, so I'm probably not going to play it. I don't really care for it. It looks all right. I'm not excited about it. What do you think?
No,
I think it's unique though. I like its uniqueness. But
I like the art style. I do like the art style a lot.
Art style is cool. It's very colorful and very different. But I'm good.
Said he's through, then we're through.
Next was a clone of Minecraft. Sorry, Teardown.
I said the same thing.
Oh, by the way, the Plucky Squire is coming out on everything. Okay.
Yeah, everything.
And Teardown also is coming out on everything.
I think something tells me the Xbox showcased that a while ago.
The Plucky Squire or Teardown?
Yeah, Teardown.
Okay, I mean, I've never seen this game until the showcase, but looks like you could destroy everything, which is kind of like how Minecraft is. It's like a grown up version of Minecraft, you know, where it's like it's got more mature looking environments and things like that, but it's still got that blocky art style that we all know is Minecraft, the Minecraft look, right? I don't know, like it's the same for me either. This is the fact that this is, how many games is this? Let me go back to where this started. 1, 2, 3, 4, four, five, six games in a row that was just indie minor
Indie
stuff that
heck.
people like really just don't care for, and you would probably would have said, you know, you could have kept that for a state of play, right?
Mm-hmm.
After this was finally a game that people have been highly anticipating, probably didn't want to see this of it, and it was Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, where, you know what, this trailer is this is how you don't do a teaser trailer,
No, definitely not how you do one.
because nothing that we saw. I think what probably is a little bit better for this one is that, you know, people already have played Metal Gear Solid 3. So people already know what it's about. It's an old game, it's a classic. But if you didn't, what do you know about, like, there's a dead frog picked up by a bird,
Yep.
a massive snake and an alligator start fighting trying to eat the bird. And then there's Solid Snake in the background, you know, peeing in the water, hoping nobody sees him. It's just like,
in the water.
there's nothing else here. This is it's a nothing burger, you know. But at the very least, people know what Metal Gear Solid 3 is. With Fable, like, they announced Fable the same way Xbox did, where it was just a fairy flying around, and then it gets ate up by a frog. That fairy, rest in peace, and that frog aren't going to be in Fable. And then they just said Fable. It was just like there's just nothing there, right? This is kind of the same thing, but it's announced, it's there. It's not just coming to PlayStation 5, it's coming to everything: PC, Xbox, PS5. PlayStation has the marketing. I don't care for Metal Gear Solid, so this does nothing for me. Forte, are you gonna play this game? What are your thoughts on it?
Gear Solid, I probably will play this game, but I just felt like it didn't hit like it should have hit for this to be what it was. I think in general it fell a little flat, but I think you know what? I think they kind of overthought themselves when it came to the reveal of Big Boss. Instead of just showing like a logo, then showing some probably a sizzle reel of stuff that people already know that played the game before, stuff that happens in the game. I think that would have been more exciting. I just think they overthought themselves with the bird and the crocodile and the alligator and the snake and all this stuff eating each other, and I mean ended up eating a snake eating something else at the end for Snake Eater. I get what they were going for, but I just felt like they overthought it. But I like the reveal. I think it was a cool reveal. I just think they just way too overcompensated for what they wanted to do with that trailer. But I'm definitely interested in playing it though.
Yeah, okay. Next was
Slomo, you'll play it too.
Why do you think I'm gonna play it?
Because you will. You like games.
I do like games. I don't like every game. Anyway,
that's true.
Next was Towers of Aghasba.
Grounded.
No, I don't think that. I wouldn't say this is grounded. I wouldn't say this is because when I saw this trailer, the world is so big and vast in this trailer. I was like, yo, like the games that, like, 'cause I think it's going to be on PC as well. Like, this game is going to run horribly on every platform and so on because the world is so big. It's going to crush CPUs. Just by looking at like the trailer and the map and everything, it's just like it is going to be really hard on CPUs. But yeah, I'm not really interested in this one. I can see some of my friends wanting to play it though. Like they seem to like games like this. What are your thoughts on it?
Nope. Moving on.
Okay.
Just move on.
This is where we get into the section of big AAA games that we already knew were coming out, and we knew PlayStation had the marketing for, and they yet to keep showing them. Final Fantasy 16, which I am all in on, comes out next month. Can't wait to play it. That one is I think it's going to sell like most Final Fantasy games sell, which is great. I think it's I think some of the complaints that it doesn't feel like Final Fantasy, a bit overblown. I think it's gonna be probably a good game, but I don't know for certain because I'm gonna play it. Even though it's got a few niggles apparently that need to be ironed out, and apparently no people of color either. But whatever, right? Forte, what are your thoughts about Final Fantasy 16?
I'm already interested. I already want to play it. I don't know why they keep
Showing
why
it
they keep why you keep showing it. I
because
feel like,
they are contractually obligated to show it probably every time they do anything.
yeah, but I feel like this was the worst trailer of all of them.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah, I
it
feel
definitely
like-
wasn't better than their what they showed us in the State of Play showcase. But
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
I'm
but
saying.
at
So
this
it's
point,
like,
it's just like I mean, the game comes out and they just showing us whatever. I mean, the game comes out in a few weeks.
right. So I at this point I can take or leave any more Final Fantasy stuff. I knew it was gonna be at the showcase just due to the fact of contractual obligations and stuff. I just don't need to see any more Final Fantasy at this point. I mean, if they were going to show me Final Fantasy, they should have showed me, Rebirth.
That would have been great. Yeah, to see
That's what they
Rebirth,
should show
which is
me.
supposed to come out in less than
This
a
year,
year.
supposedly.
No, not this year. They said winter 2023.
Oh, winter, yeah.
Which
So it's supposed to come
which
out
is technically could be
up till March of
January,
next year.
February, right? But like that's less than a year to go, and we still haven't seen anything outside of a very cool looking CG trailer. But that's it. We haven't seen anything else, so it's just like, yeah, where's that game at?
Right.
This other thing they showed after this was Alan Wake 2, which is probably the first time we've seen gameplay of Alan Wake. This is being developed by Remedy. They did, of course, the first Alan Wake on Xbox. This game is also a multi-plat. But it's just being marketed by PlayStation. It's coming on everything. But I think the for one, I like that we got a sister. Yeah, that's a protagonist.
do.
I appreciate that. Their focus on horror immediately has me checked out. So you know how that is. I'm not playing it, but I think that is probably a good move for them. And kind of like a little bit of change of pace, considering they went for like their last couple games are far more action oriented with Quantum Break and Control. Well, what are your thoughts with this? Like, I played Alan Wake 1 and never finished it because I didn't like it. Forte, you ever play Alan Wake?
I did.
Did you like it?
I did. I liked it. I think American Nightmare was really good too.
That was the expansion, right?
That was the expansion to Alan Wake 1.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good too. I really like you said, shout out to the sisters being here. I like the aesthetic. Alan Wake, storytelling is really, really good. I just, once again, a game that we already knew. Well, I won't say we already knew that this is probably one of the bigger ones where we actually saw gameplay. Thank you, Remedy, for doing what you're supposed to do, and I appreciate that. So I'm glad that we actually got a chance to see that and see some of the gameplay, see some of the character models and stuff. And I think the game looks really good, which is something that they always kind of do when it comes to their games and stuff. But a lot of people probably ain't gonna play this because they scaredy cats. They don't like to be scared. I ain't gonna say no names.
Yeah, don't. You don't need
I'm
to,
gonna say-
because I don't know who you're talking about. Anyway,
Are you gonna play Saul?
I'm not playing it because this ain't my kind of game. I don't care for it.
Why
I
isn't
didn't
that your
didn't
kinda
like the
game?
first game. The first game wasn't scary. I just thought it was boring.
Are you
So-
like running around with your flashlight on?
No. But I like Quantum
Flash-
Break and I like Control. I like
Quantum Break was awesome.
I like when they go more towards the action. But
That's true.
I do think it looks like this one's going to have far more cinematics than Take Control did. And hopefully a lot of the story isn't in context of what's going on isn't being told through correspondence, emails, and just stuff that you find lying around you gotta end up reading. Like I don't like that about what's his name, Sam Lake. I don't really like that about his writing or the way he designs the narrative of these games. But Hopefully they kind of they switch it up with that. Next was another AAA game, but I don't know if it's quite true. This is AAA, but it looks like it's going to be uh, a smaller game. But it's Assassin's Creed Mirage, which a lot of people seem to be hyped for. So they gave us a release date. It's coming out on October 12th.
One of the few games that did that.
Say again, we saw
One of the few games that gave us a release date.
right. It is going back to the roots of Assassin's Creed, which is more stealth and more like giving you more options. I guess I would say more immersive sim, right? To complete your objective, not necessarily the open world action RPG kind of games that we've been getting for Assassin's Creed ever since Assassin's Creed Origins. I think it's pretty polarizing with this IP because there are people who long for what Mirage is and what the previous Assassin's Creed games were, and then there are the people who never liked those games but they like the new Assassin's Creed. I kind of feel like Ubisoft would be smart to do both, like continue to keep making games like Mirage while also making games like Valhalla at the same time. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. I've never really gotten into the Assassin's Creed franchise because I just didn't like the first one. And 2 was really, really good. I keep hearing, seeing this gameplay is making me kind of want to get back in, because now that there seems like they're going back to what the roots are, you could probably just jump into this game without having to play any of the other ones. Of course, you'll probably not know some of the story elements and stuff of like the Templars and everything like that, which a lot of people won't know. But I am more interested in this just because it's going back to something that it used to be, like Odyssey and Valhalla and Origins. They were really good games, but I just felt like they did too much.
If the
I
world
felt like it was just
too much
way
stuff
too
going
much
on,
in
the
that.
map is way too big.
Yeah,
It's too much like little annoying fetch quest, side quest, little stuff that doesn't really mean anything to the greater narrative.
yeah.
And when that every time I would open up the map, like I didn't never play Origins, but I played Odyssey. And when I would open up the map and just see all these icons just everywhere, I was just no.
Right.
It wasn't like a challenge for me to clear the map. It was like, this is too much and this is going to take too long. And it does, because most people who beat those games say they took them like over 100 hours. And frankly, like it depends on the game. There's some games I don't mind spending over 100 hours in, and then there's some games I do mind spending over 100 hours in. And Assassin's Creed and its gameplay is one of those games where I'm like, nah, I'm not trying to do this for 100 plus hours. So whatever.
Like, I don't even like you, Assassin's Creed. Why are you doing this to me?
Next up was Revenant Hill. I mean, all right.
I like you said, yeah, all right.
It's made by
I know how you feel.
The Glory Society. That's a name for a studio. I guess it's also the same developer that made Night in the Woods, which I also did not play. It's about a cat named Twigs and the community surrounding him. Yeah, this is a state of play kind of game. This is the game that you keep for state of play. You don't need to have this in your showcase, Sony. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's coming to PC, PS5, and PS4. Forte, are you getting Revenant Hill?
No.
Do you like you don't like Revenant Hill?
No. What is it?
Whoa, hello.
What is it?
You kind of broke up there.
I said no. What kind of game is this, Limo? Do you even know?
No, I don't know anything about this game.
You don't know.
There's a cat, and he's running. It looks like it's a side scroller.
Guess what? I can go play back. Sure.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's I can barely hear you. Like when it's like you were kind of breaking up. You mind jumping out and
I
jumping?
said I can play a better looking cat game named Shrek. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Like
It's slow mo.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I mean, yeah, but it's like when I hear you, it's like kind of broken up. I don't know. We'll roll
Man,
with it.
it's called your PC. It's okay.
It is not my PC, sir. You the one that always got mic issues.
I don't have issue. I can hear you perfectly fine.
Let's talk about
I
a
bet
game
you
that a lot of
put
people
a poll
were
in the chat. Who's having problems hearing each other? I bet you the chat said they can hear me well.
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Shocked. Wasn't expecting.
You were shocked?
I wasn't expecting it.
Maybe
I'm not shocked that there's a Dragon's Dogma 2. I just wasn't expecting it at the showcase.
I think, well, yeah, I wasn't expecting it to showcase. I was expecting to see Dragon's Dogma 2 sometime this summer. I thought I was probably end up seeing it at the Jeff Keighley Summerfest or something. But it's
it's exclusive. Seems like it's exclusive.
No, wasn't that on the list of games that Xbox said?
It was not. It was not.
Or maybe it's timed exclusive. I can't see it being a full-on exclusive. I guess we'll have to see. I mean, we'll never know with the way Sony does their timed exclusive deals.
No, man. No.
Capcom probably is sworn the secret.
Can't even have a controller in your. Can't even have a controller in your development house talking about it.
Look at the chat talking about I'm having a problem with Forte's mic, audio issues. Slowbo needs to go to the bullpen to sub out Forte. Yeah, it's not me. It's not my PC. It's your overly expensive for no reason setup.
What you mean overly expensive?
You know what I mean. How much money you spend on your soundboard and your mic and all that other stuff, all for that for you to come in here and still sound terrible?
I don't sound terrible now. You definitely lying there.
I'm just saying
that's definitely not the truth.
You spent way too much money for you to be coming in here and me not being able to hear you sometimes.
Okay. Sometimes this is like the first time. Calm down.
It's the first time. Really. We know that anyway. Are you playing Dragon's Dogma 2? I think for me,
it depends on when it comes out. If I play it day one or not.
Here's another one that didn't have a release date. But I
didn't.
guess I'm thinking maybe next year. You know, Capcom's pretty good with getting games out in a timely manner. Like if they show you a game, it's probably coming out fairly soon. So I'll probably say 2024. But just no actual release date right now. I tried Dragon's Dogma, the first one, but when I tried it, it was so like it had been years since it came out and it was so dated. I was just like, I can't get into this. But I mean, I wouldn't mind trying out the second one. It's just like it's not something that's like a must-have for me. What about you?
It's not a must-have. Like I said, it really depends on what's out at that moment. But it's definitely not a must-have. A lot of people was really, really excited to see that Dragon's Dogma. Like I said, I was expecting it. I just wasn't expecting it at this showcase. And I think in general, it's gonna hit for some people. But honestly, it just really comes down to the release date. When is it going to be available? Because this is one of those games that if it comes out at the right time and there's nothing else around it, you might jump into it. But if there's a bunch of stuff around
it's gotta be like it's gotta come out at a time like say February, where
exactly.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out in January, and then like there's nothing happening until April, like no other big release until April, something like that. You know, that would kind of like be a good. But if it's running up against a heavy hitter, it's probably not going to do that great.
Right.
Yeah. This is when we got into the VR portion of the show. And after we got done with that they lined up all their AAA games together. Oh, by the way, 3-bit. Shout out to 3-bit. He in the chat said happy belated birthday to Forte. Forte turned
Thank you,
58
3-bit.
last Saturday. And
Thank you,
58 years.
3-bit.
58
Appreciate it.
years young.
58 years, yeah.
Good for him. It looks great for 58.
Rodimus said skip VR for time.
We're not skipping VR for time because they didn't allow us to skip VR for time, Rodimus. So we're not skipping it. So Resident Evil 4 is coming to
I'm
VR.
with you, Rodimus.
This is typical for Capcom. They normally drop Resident Evil, and then like maybe 6 months later they drop a VR version of the game as well. So it usually is a solid version, from what I hear, in VR. So this will probably be a solid version on PSVR 2. Forte, you are getting a PSVR. You already have one. I'm definitely not
No,
into
don't have
VR.
it
I'm
yet.
trying to
I
sell
haven't.
my Oculus Quest right now. So
How much you want to sell it for?
I already told you, man. You
Oh,
keep
yeah, you
asking
did,
me
you
these
did.
questions, and you don't want to give me.
Not that much.
Okay, well, all right then. Look, I got everything. I got the headset battery backup.
Listen, you trying to
I got
scout
the
people.
link cable, links to your PC. I got all that stuff, all of
You
it in
trying
the
to scout
package.
people.
Right? That's not scalping, man. That's I'm giving people a
You
fair
trying to
price
get
for
more
all
money
that
than you
stuff.
paid for it.
That's actually what I'm offering is less than what I paid for everything.
No,
anyway,
I just want the headset.
I sold my Steam Deck, by the way. But we'll
Oh,
talk
yeah?
later. Yeah, I did. We'll
Yeah,
talk.
we'll talk
We'll talk
later.
later. Yeah, I'm
Nice.
not playing this. So are you playing this?
I am not playing it, but my daughter is. It's she saw the trailer say, "Dad, will you give me PSVR now?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" So I'll definitely be buying it very soon because she's the Resident Evil fan when it comes to stuff like that. So definitely gonna be picking it up for her to play that.
And looks like my Polygon article I was using to go through everything has skipped a lot of stuff. Even they didn't like this show and skip things. So let me go find some of the stuff they skipped real quick. Cat Quest.
Cat Quest.
Cat Quest is another indie game that was shown. Yeah, this looks like something I would find like on Steam, like, you know, just popping up on Steam every now and then. Yeah, I'm not playing this. Forte, you?
No.
I thought you like cats, right?
I like cats. My wife is allergic to them, so
Oh, we're
yeah,
also
it's
allergic.
very unfortunate. I guess
Um,
I get away not having to play cats. You
something-
know, it's like Puzzle Quest, but Cat Quest. That's it kind of looks like.
Let's see here. Friday Night at Freddy's, the VR version.
No.
That was shown, and
No.
man, you know, I you know what I love to see at showcases?
Friday Night at Freddy.
Friday Night at Freddy's. It has to, you know, every good showcase has a Friday Night at Freddy's trailer, right? No, they don't. Actually, every bad showcase has Friday Night at Freddy's added. I'm tired of seeing Friday Night at Freddy's. It's the same game. I don't care if it's in VR. It's literally the same game. You don't move. You just sit in a room and wait for some animatronic to come out and try to scare you. It's the same game design. Apparently, it's super popular. People love it. I don't know why. It's weird to me, but like, I don't know why this was shown. Like this they could have kept this. Could have kept that one in the tub.
Mm-hmm.
Else in my Ultros.
Mhm.
Ultros side scroller, very colorful looking. I thought that, you know, it didn't look that bad. I'm not playing this either. I feel like I'm not playing anything here. But yeah.
It's had a seizure.
No, I didn't say it's, see, I said I feel like I'm not playing anything here.
Oh.
Either. But this one it looked pretty interesting. What do you think?
Oh, it looked. I like the aesthetic of it. This is where I think I was talking about the showcase when I was talking to Ramon and B Money about and Eric Jackson about it. I was like, you know, side-scrolling 2D games have gotten so much better in their presentation that
True.
like this game looks really, really good, really elaborate. Like it's a lot of stuff going on in the backgrounds. I like the aesthetic of it. It's one of those games that kind of just stands out on its own. So I'm definitely interested in it. Definitely gonna probably want to give it a try and see what it's all
They're
about.
being messy in the chats. I love it though.
What they say.
Uh,
Oh my God,
shout out
can't
to
wait for
Ham
2024.
Solo, and he said, "Can't wait for 2024. I know exactly what to expect."
What to expect. Oh my God.
It's
Hey,
so funny 'cause
Ham.
he does it.
We
There
gotta
was
give them their flowers.
there was also, okay. So let's see here. There was Street Fighter 6, which was
Yep.
shown again. And that
Comes
was,
out in a week, by the way.
yeah, it comes out in a week. They had a little trailer here. Ryu fighting against some creative character that no one cares or.
Remember once they said, "Is this a creative character?" Yes, it is.
But I think Street Fighter 6 is gonna be big. I think a lot of people who love fighters are gonna enjoy it. And I'm really happy for the Street Fighter community. I think that game is gonna be a big success. But we've seen Street Fighter everywhere, and I know this was contractually obligated by Sony, but yeah, it just considering how the show was going, it was just kind of like a eye roll moment to see this game yet again. So, any thoughts on this one before I move on to the next one?
No move.
Okay, Tower of Fantasy.
Oh, we can go back.
Huh? Oh, because you saw Cammy.
Yeah.
Tower of Fantasy, which actually kind of reminds me of like the MiHoYo games. And MiHoYo is the developer that makes Genshin Impact as well as
Good old Genshin.
Honkai Star Rail, which I'm currently playing right now on PC. It's only on PC and mobile. The animation and the art style is very similar. The whole waifu looking character models and stuff like that, but this gameplay, like it seems like they keep kind of using the same format, live service format, the gacha system, but they do it with different kinds of gameplay, because like Genshin Impact is an action RPG. It very much takes a lot of influence from Breath of the Wild and other games, but Star Rail is a turn-based RPG, which I really enjoy. And the story is far more focused than Genshin Impact. This though, like I struggle with Tower of Fantasy to see what the gameplay loop is, to see what the gameplay actually is. And I don't know. Like I feel like I can only take one of these games at a time, and I got Star Rail, so I'm not really extending this one. What about you?
She looks really nice. I felt like Gundam's on
Very
wings.
pretty game.
It's a very pretty game. Like I said, oh look, they're underwater. It's like a whole nother world under there, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm good on this. If I didn't. Like, Get Your Impact got me for 2 seconds, and I was like, nope, let me get up out of here. Let me get up out of here before I lose my life in this game. And they're not about to get me now, Slow-Mo. They are not about to get me now.
All right, what else? Because I saw that didn't really. Let me sure I get everything before I start moving. I think that was all of the little one. Okay, so back to the VR games. They show Back to VR. We got Arizona Sunshine 2. Which reminded me of Dead Island 2. Just goofiness and the zombies and everything. And yeah, I mean, look, I'm already interested in VR, but Forte VR, PSVR 2 owner, would you be getting this?
No, because the VR is not for me.
Oh, so
VR is not for me, so no.
Yeah. But if
you got VR, you should want to get something like this. It's like fake Left 4 Dead right here.
I don't want to play this. This doesn't. This doesn't really like taking like limbs and slapping zombies with it, and I don't care. I don't care
Might be
about
fun though, slow mo.
it. Yeah, not for me. Not for me. Another one, which Crossfire is back, but instead now this is Crossfire Sierra Squad, which the shooting in this looked better than the actual shooting. A VR game looked like it has better shooting than the actual like traditional console game that came out on Xbox. Crossfire X, which is pretty sad for how bad Crossfire X was. I am not interested in anything Smilegate has to offer right now in the first person shooter perspective.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, sir?
This was actually one that I was like, could actually see myself playing this because like,
here we go.
I was like,
you're gonna be taking taking the VR from your daughter, play some Sierra Squad.
Well, that's when she's not playing yet, so I might jump in. But if I listen, the only way I'm playing this is if it's given to me. I'm not buying this game.
Then that's probably Sony's next.
Yeah, I'm not buying this game. Sorry, Smilegate, that's not happening.
there was I think there was 2 more VR games.
We can skip them.
We were not going to skip them because we were allowed to skip them, so we won't.
That don't mean we got to endure it longer.
Hey, look, this with Beat Saber, the only VR game that I really liked.
So we don't have to keep doing
okay,
this.
turn that off, sir. Thank you.
We don't have to keep doing this. We can move on from these VR games.
We're not moving on. So Beat Saber.
This is your father telling you to move on from these VR games.
Anyway, Beat Saber is probably the highest selling VR game out there. It's basically a mainstay for every VR platform. If you don't have Beat Saber, do you even really have a VR platform?
Do you even have a VR?
Right, like do you even really do VR if you don't have Beat Saber? So of course this is going to sell like crazy on the PSVR 2. Like it's a guarantee. And it gives you a good workout, you know, if you're out of shape.
Well, if you start playing Beat Saber because you're out of shape, you're going to be dead tired by the time.
Right.
It's going to wear you out.
Let's see. And then the last game was probably the most impressive game I've seen on the VR thing. And they showed us that their VR state of play is Synapses, which looks really good. Although that pistol, that magnetic bullet time looking smart pistol Titanfall. Man, them bullets was finding their targets eventually. Like it was curving. It was curving, man. Some crazy aim assist in this game. I don't know if that's on purpose, or if it's supposed to be like a part of the narrative or whatever. Like you're supposed to be able to bend the bullets or something like that. But yeah, there was a lot of people that kind of felt like hoping that they would see a announcement for Half-Life Alyx. Which is probably considered like the biggest VR game that's out there as far as AAA quality goes, announced for PSVR 2, and that's not the case. I think in order for them to get Half-Life Alyx, they're gonna need to do a little quo pro with Valve, and that probably is not going to happen until they put PSVR 2 on PC. So yeah. But I mean, I think if you have a PSVR 2, you should probably get this game. This game looks good. Moving on to something that Forte can't wait to talk about.
Let's go. This is when the show got good. And then it died after this.
It didn't. We didn't see any gameplay. Marathon is being developed by Bungie. Marathon, for those who don't know, is actually originally a game that Bungie made, and it only came out on PC. I think it came out on Mac back in like 90. like mid 90s, like 95, not maybe 94. But Bungie made it. It was a PC only game. This is not necessarily that game. It's more of a reimagining of it, and it's supposed to be an extraction shooter,
Yeah.
which is like a PvE thing. So it's more like Escape from Tarkov, The Division Heartland, Scavengers, those kind of games. Like, there's a lot of extraction shooters that are out there. So Bungie's kind of jumping into that foray, hoping to try to get carve out a piece of that community for themselves. I think visually it looked very colorful and very unique in its look. How it plays, I don't know if this is necessarily going to be a first person shooter or not. And if it's not a first person shooter, that's a little bit out of their wheelhouse. I don't know whether the gunplay would be as solid as it's been in the past for them. Forte, what are your thoughts about Marathon?
I'm interested. You know why I'm more. You know the reason I'm way more interested in this than I probably should be. I need to know what this is. The reason Bungie has neglected PvP and Destiny for the last 5 years.
No, that was Matter.
This is part of the reason too, because just Matter's one part of it. This is the other part because they split off a bunch of people to make this game too. So this is just 25% of the reason of why I'm really interested. I want to know what the PvP team has been doing, and now I see it. So I want to definitely give this game a try, because the one thing about Bungie games, they have really good gameplay, and they always have really good gunplay too. So it really just comes down to what perspective you're going to play this game at, like you said earlier. But if you go to their, you go to the website and everything, they give you a little synopsis of what the game is. Synopsis, yeah. A massive ghost ship hangs in low orbit over the lost colony of Taylor C4. The 30,000 souls who called this place home have disappeared without a trace. Strange signals hit mysterious artifacts, long dormant.
Why are you
AI,
giving us all this exposition on this game?
Untold riches. You
couldn't give us any details beyond I ain't interested for any of these other games that's at the showcase.
Into the unknown. They fight for fame and
ridiculous.
Who among you will write their names across the stars? Well, that's that Bungie blueprint right there. They put all this exposition into this and they don't show you nothing.
Been great. I could have.
What you trying to say? Oh, you said? Did you just say all you give me all of this stuff for this, and you ain't had nothing to say for the other stuff? And the other stuff was boring.
This is just as boring.
No, it wasn't. No, dude, listen. You may have given up
a bunch of abstract looking visuals.
You have given up
zero. There's a bunch of abstract looking visuals with zero explanation. The guy running around with a gun. I don't know if this is a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter.
It says become a runner.
I don't know
Bungie
anything.
Sci-fi
I don't know
PvP
anything.
Extraction shooter. Compete for survival.
Hold on. From the trailer. Can you tell it's a distraction shooter?
No. In renown in the world of evolving persistent.
Do we see a single millisecond of gameplay?
No.
So this is a terrible teaser trailer.
I agree.
This is what we talk about, terrible teaser, and then we got another terrible teaser trailer to show. This one's even worse than Marathon.
What?
Concord.
Oh yeah, that was okay. I thought you were about to say something else.
By Firewalk Studios.
That wasn't next.
Next on my list.
That wasn't less than that was not next. You cannot skip over
Can
what
we
was
talk
next.
about we're gonna get back to that. Can we talk about Concord?
Yeah, but as long as you get back to the juice.
That's not the juice.
Get back to the juice.
It ain't worth the squeeze. Anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
This is what we're talking about, terrible teaser trailers. We have no freaking idea what Concord is. I had no idea what Firewalk Studios was working on. Only thing I know now about Firewalk Studios game is it's called Concord. They could have did that in a blog post. This trailer
You
showed
ain't like
absolutely
You
nothing.
ain't like the plant with the food on the counter?
It's a spaceship going through warp drive or something. I don't know what the heck that means.
That look like dark matter.
Is it a shooter? Don't know. Is it an action live service game? Action adventure? You know, no, don't know.
It's got a gun on the counter.
There was a gun on the counter, yeah. You know, I mean, but is that first person
Starfield had a
shooting?
gun on the counter
Third
too.
person shooting? Don't know. Don't know anything.
That's the best looking sandwich in there.
This trailer was like 30 seconds long. It's like a 40-second trailer. Why did you show this? And look, this is all you can show, and then at the end you said coming out in 2024. Let's tackle that for a moment.
Okay.
It is the middle of 2023. You're somehow going to put out a game in 2020, a year from now, that you won't show any gameplay of?
Good point.
Doubtful. I do not think that's the case at all. I do not think this game is coming out. If it does come out next year, it's coming out late next year, like holiday time. And you know, you shouldn't be pushing these games out, but they pushed out The Last of Us Part 1 when it wasn't ready. So yeah, you know, once upon a time I used to believe that PlayStation wouldn't do stuff like that, like they always release games when they were absolutely ready. But yeah, I can't really rely on that anymore. So you know what, maybe it will come out next year. It'll be a buggy mess on PC and PlayStation. But here you go, Forte. Another teaser trailer with no actual gameplay. Destiny 2.
That's what it was.
And here we have bald head lady. I forgot her name.
Yes. Yes.
And then we have a bunch of other Titans and stuff, and Guardians here, and you know, I don't know what's happening. And
Savathun.
It's everyone's here. Everyone's here because you know that's what they do.
Nazareth.
That's what they do when they're about to end a game.
Kaido.
They bring back dead people too, like Cade 6. They bring him back. They bring back all the dead people so that one last hurrah before they end the game completely. So go ahead, Forte, and enjoy this. They got a showcase coming in August.
August 22nd, baby. August 22nd. So let's be okay. To my Destiny fans out there, all my lovers, everybody that loves everything that, well, not everything that Bungie does, but loves Destiny and wants it to be done. And guess what? We all hate where Destiny is right at the point, but we are almost at the grand finale. I'm hoping they don't drop the ball. This got me super excited. Shout out to Cade. He gonna be back in some capacity. Don't know how, but they're bringing him back.
You hoping they don't drop the ball when they don't have hands. It's funny.
Listen, okay, but listen.
They definitely dropped the ball.
I think they're inside the Traveler. They're inside the Traveler right now, I believe. The fact that Ikora has a ghost with her, I was thinking that she could have died. People inside the Traveler might have passed on and their conscience is there. But the fact that Ikora still has her ghost makes me feel like something else is going on here. And the fact that Bungie didn't just have him say, they actually said in the notes that no, Cade is coming back. We don't know how he's coming back, but it's gonna be awesome.
Well, you know, when you're bad at writing, you just write whatever. It doesn't matter how you do it. You just get it done. You just write some stuff together, and there you have it.
Listen. Yeah. Don't get this game. The 10-year plan is coming to a head. We are getting to the end of it.
Yep.
And it is great.
Thank God. Let's get this over with.
No, it was going to be another 10-year plan after this. so
no, it's not.
Destiny ain't going nowhere.
They're ending Destiny, man. You're not getting Destiny 3.
No, I don't know. They already said it. No, they already got stuff that people seen about what's happening after Final Shape. Final Shape's just the end of the Light and Dark saga, sir. You will
Ooh,
always have Destiny.
I completely forgot about this one. I can't believe I forgot about this. This is the game that I'm really excited to see and play coming out this year. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Okay, you could go to that game because you just want to skip over the rest of my Destiny stuff. That's fine.
No. Look, we gave that game way more time than we gave most of the other games. So
yeah, because this is where the show actually got good, and then it dropped off a cliff 2 games after that.
I don't know about that, but it was off the cliff like 15 minutes into the show, but whatever.
Well, no, I'm saying, but it fell on another cliff, and that cliff cushioned the fall when we saw Destiny and Bungie stuff.
Yeah, no, it did for you. Everyone else
technically that's first
still
party.
bored.
If I think about it, I forgot that that's first party at this point.
It is first party, even though it's multiplayer.
Yeah.
So Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is being made by Cygames and published by Cygames as well. This game should have been out like 2 years ago, but they made the very unfortunate decision and choice to rely on Platinum Games as a support studio, and Platinum did absolutely nothing, and they ended up having to fire Platinum Games and do the work themselves, and so that delayed the game some time. But this game is awesome looking. I've definitely go out there and look up after the show, of course. Look up gameplay on this game. This game is freaking looks great. It looks great. I can't wait to play it. It did get delayed. It looks like it's coming out in if I got this right, it's releasing in Japan like soon, but worldwide it'll be out like this holiday. So hopefully there's not a delay and that actually comes to pass. But I've been waiting for this game for a while, and it was good to see that it showed up. This is one of the 3 games I was actually like impressed with, really impressed with at the show. Forte, what are your thoughts on Grand Blue?
No, I think it's really cool looking, and the thing is, it's, you know what it reminds me? Like when I see this, it makes me think of Immortal Phoenix Rising when it comes to like the combat and stuff. I mean, it's a little bit, it's not as this is like more over the top than that, but just probably the aesthetic in general. I also look at what's the game called? Scarlet Nexus.
Yeah.
With all the different abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
So for as soon as I saw it, it's like, man, Scarlet Nexus. It was so before its time. How great that game was. A lot of people just didn't give that game a chance. So I'm definitely interested in this one. I've been getting into a lot of the these type of RPGs and stuff on the back end. I'm really
we gotta play this
looking forward to this.
Yeah, we gotta play this then, man. I think this supposed to have co-op. I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So the fact that I could play it with people, maybe I can replace Luca in your fire team.
Well, why you gotta replace Luca?
Because Luca, Luca ain't got time to play games with us no more. Remember?
No, she got all the time in the world now. She needs the motivation to play something that she actually
motivation.
Likes to play. But no, like I said, I'm super hyped for this one. There's only 3 things left to talk about, and then we can kind of move on from this. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to get demonetized by showing it, but they actually had the audacity, the gall to show a Gran Turismo movie trailer at a video game showcase. I mean, when they did this, it was just like I just couldn't. I was dumbfounded. I could not believe they were showing that crap. And I'm not saying the movie is crap. It might actually be a pretty good movie. Like I think they've done. Sony Pictures has done some good work adapting some of the PlayStation game properties over to media. I didn't really care for the Uncharted movie, but I thought the Last of Us show was well done. And can't speak for the rest of the stuff that's coming out. I do think that that Twisted Metal TV show looks like crap, but we'll see. They definitely, and they said this when they released all their business stuff a day before the showcase. They said that they are really interested in taking their IP and really adapting it and making it work and having it work in synergy with all other different departments, all other different industries that they're involved in. So you're gonna start seeing a lot more of PlayStation IP being adapted into anime or TV show, live action TV shows, movies, whatever. And it is what it is. I just would like them to keep that separate because nobody that was watching your showcase wanted to see a movie then. And the people that you want to see this movie aren't people who care about PlayStation Showcase. They're going to be people who are going to be like, oh, that was a cool show. That was a cool movie. It was exciting. I hear there's a game. Yeah, I think I might play that game because I enjoyed the movie. Like, those are the people that you the way that's going to work. But like showing this here, no, you should have showed that like at the Super Bowl, right? Or at the NBA Finals. That's when you show the Gran Turismo trailer, not at your PlayStation Showcase. So, Forte, what are your thoughts on that?
Who wants this? Do you want this, Slow-Mo?
Do I want what?
Do you want this?
With the movie? We talked about?
No, yeah, the movie. Do you want to see this movie?
No, I don't care.
I actually want to see the movie. It shouldn't have been at the showcase though.
No,
Who wanted this? Who wanted this? You know who had the best reaction to it? I was watching because I went to go look at like really big PlayStation people, and BG he lost his mind. Started calling them. He started calling them N-words and everything on the street. Like he said, "Who do you think we are?" That's kind of how I felt about it. I was like, "Did they literally just show a movie trailer in the middle of a video game showcase?" Now I get it. There is a video game component to this, but you would have better off for the people that wanted to go see Gran Turismo to probably do a trailer of Gran Turismo, the video game, inside of the movie itself. Maybe have them sitting down playing on PlayStation 5 and using Gran Turismo as a way to practice the tracks and stuff, just to showcase the game, and which they're probably going to do anyways in that game. It would be smart to do it. But why was this here? I just didn't get it, but I understand that
they're so out of touch with what their community wants. And I think that was the biggest example that they are completely out of touch. Like nobody wanted to see that, nobody cared to see that, and when they did see it, they was just like, "Yo, what the heck is this?" Like it's just that's not what anyone cares to see at a video game showcase. Especially when you're already disappointed because you haven't seen enough gameplay of games that are unique to this platform.
Right.
And you take the time out to show a movie. Come on, bro. Now, and in regards to that, I think either right before that or right after then, they show these new accessories, which are one's pretty controversial, the other one isn't. Like the earbuds, I'm probably gonna cop those. I am an earbud fiend. I've got very expensive Samsung, what are these? The Pros. I forgot what they called. I spent about $250 on those. I have the Jabba Elite earbuds that were $200. I just buy expensive earbuds. So I'm probably going to get these earbuds too because primarily I play a lot of, when I play PlayStation, I'm playing like a single player game. Sometimes I just don't feel like putting a headset on. And if, these would be a nice little change of pace. Just throw the earbuds in and I'm good to go. I'm going to pick those up for certain.
I think the earbuds is a really good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
They're a really good idea.
They're especially leveraging something that they do already. So it's just it's easy for them to make quality earbuds because they already make quality like sound stuff anyway. So this would be perfect for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought when I saw that, I said I was sitting there thinking like, yeah, that's a really good idea, you know. So even when you're like, say you're streaming in something and you want to still have really good game audio and be able to talk to your chat and stuff, you could just have those in your ear instead of having headphones on.
Right, right.
I thought it was a good, and I didn't think, and the thing is, I didn't put two and two together until I saw them. I was like, dang, Sony, that
I
was a
wonder
really
how
good
well
idea.
I wonder how well they'll work with PC. Because you know a lot of their accessories work very well with
Yeah.
PC now.
With
So
PC. Yeah,
I
they'll
will
just show
definitely be
up as
testing
a
that out when
Bluetooth
those come
device,
out.
probably.
I'm interested in when they drop.
I am too. Now that screen, on the other hand, they can keep that.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Q, Project
They
Q,
can keep that.
which you know looks like they just snapped the DualSense in half and stuck a iPad in between it.
That's basically what they did.
For
real.
That's a so I think we when this was first leaked, and shout out to Tom Henderson with Inside Gaming because a lot of people was all like, Tom Henderson, nothing Tom Henderson say ever come true. But here it is. Tom Henderson was the first one to talk about that. It came true. So, you know, shout out to him. Shout out to him. I think there's no price for either of those items or when they're supposed to be coming out. I know that's supposed to be coming out later this year though. I ain't getting it. Yo, a handheld device that is only good for remote play to my PC. It already has very limited capabilities already, and I just already feel just based off of how they have priced the DualSense Edge, the regular DualSense. You got this thing here. Like, I kind of feel like, I mean, honestly, this thing's going to be well over $200. I feel like that's overpriced.
I
And
agree.
meanwhile, you could just get a hand bone. What is it? The backbone? Whatever the freak it's called. Where it's just that's already out. It's like $100. So you just connect it to your phone. Does the same thing. You could do remote play on your phone right now.
You can.
So what
Right.
what is that? Like, you can just use your phone. Just or your iPad or whatever. Like it just you don't need that thing. Make a real handheld. Make a real handheld if you want to do a handheld. Come on now. So like, that's not for me. Forza, are you getting it?
No.
Nope.
I am so against handhelds right now. Not because I love the Switch or anything, but I'm at a point now, like, if I want to play games, I'm not going to play games on the go like that. And if I'm going to play PlayStation games in particular, I mean, especially since it's not a native download. Like, the thing about the Switch is you're playing the games on a native hardware. You're not really dealing with the internet or anything like that.
Right.
And even when you're in your own house,
Freaking
latency
Wi-Fi.
would be a lot better, but it's still latency. So the fact that my PlayStation has to stay on, the fact that, you know, I have to, if I want to have the best experience, I want to be as close to it as possible. Yeah, it's like in a pinch if my wife is, and that's another thing for me, my wife doesn't come down into the game room where my PlayStation is, where the couch and everything down. So I always have access to play my PlayStation pretty much whenever I want to.
Yeah, mine is in my office and it's connected to one of my monitors. So, I mean, when it wasn't there, it was in the entertainment room in my basement where, my kids would watch TV there. But whenever I had it there because I wanted to play, like, say, I wanted to play God of War Ragnarok, and then and before that, Horizon Forbidden West on my OLED, where I wanted to really see the visuals pop. Was nobody. I mean, like, I work from home, so when I was doing that, I was taking breaks from work to just go there when the kids were at school. So it was just like, I don't really need this device. I don't need it. And yeah, I'm not getting it. If it was something cheaper, you know, maybe the FOMO would kick in, and I'll just buy it anyway. But I'm gonna get them earbuds though. Them earbuds is mine.
Consider mine.
If they want to give them to me so I could do a review for them, I would do that too. But, you know. Anyway, let's get to this last game, and then we can kind of like discuss again where we think this show really went wrong. So the last game, of course, was Spider-Man 2, which I am happy about what I saw, because for what I expected from the game and what I wanted them to show me where the improvements of the gameplay are, and they did that. They did that very well. I did not want Peter to feel stale after we got the chance to play as Miles with all the powers that Miles has, and of course they can't give Peter new powers to make him more exciting and dynamic. They can't do that. But what they can do is very naturally through, you know, all the storylines, give him the symbiote suit and allow him to use that suit in very unique ways in gameplay, which is exactly what they did, which was a very smart decision. And people during the stream, I noticed some things visually that didn't quite work with me, and I wasn't really knocking them for it, because it's not like the game is complete or anything. It's clearly still in development, so they got some things to work on. But I actually watched a video that kind of like broke down some of those aspects, some things that I saw, and it also broke down the way the city has been depicted versus the old map with the, you know, so they've added new areas to the city, like the whole waterfront, the wharf where Miles goes over there to try to find the lizard, and that whole area, this whole little area right there, is not even in the map for Spider-Man 2018 and Miles Morales. So this is like new areas that they have created on the map. Something that's new: when you shoot webs, your webs have a shadow. Whereas in the previous games, your webs didn't have a shadow. So they kind of like showed that, like there's a differences between that. I like how you can use your webs to create your own little like areas to kind of perch down on the enemies from. I think that's very smart and natural evolution to combat. And it just seems like both Spider-Man seem to have all of the abilities that they already had before that you unlocked. It's not like you're starting over again. I hate that when you do a sequel and it's like you've nerfed me all over again to make me go through the whole loop of getting stronger again. But why don't you acknowledge the fact that I've already done that, and then just make me get even stronger from there, which it seems like what they're doing. Now, something that I had noticed, and some people was like, no, I ain't see nothing wrong with it. There is very little reflections in the interior environments. These are a lot little things visually they haven't really fixed yet. In the city, they've added there's been comparisons of the buildings in this trailer and those buildings in the city in the previous games, and they've added like more windows. There's more there, but there's less detail. So there's more like the one side of a building would have like more windows, but you look at the final product in the game that you already played versus the trailer, and it's like the amount of texture quality is way better. And so like these are things they gotta work on before launch, but you know, I fully expect all that stuff to get done. All that said, I really enjoyed the trailer. I like where they're going with everything. It's a game of the year contender as far as I'm concerned. I'm done talking.
Nice.
Forte, go ahead.
No. Listen, Spider-Man games haven't been my forte, no pun intended, but I was really interested to see because you brought a lot of attention to it, talking about with them going back to Peter after having the overcharged version of Miles Morales. You can't just go back to bland Peter. You know, can't go back to the cookie cutter flying through the air, just using the traditional gadgets to get the job done. You had to do something to make him stand out a little bit power wise, and I think they did it perfectly by giving him the symbiote suit. I think that was a really good gameplay that they did on that one, and I think it's going to do the gaming. And then they even gave him an even darker personality. Like it was still
Oh,
Peter, but like
did you see the little things? Or real quick,
Yeah.
at one point in the trailer, he saves a civilian
yeah,
and then kind of just shoves him to the ground.
it just shoves the civilian.
Yeah, he's just like you can see that how the symbiote's personality is affecting him, and you
Yep.
see it like when he does that. Miles looks at the civilian, looks at him like, "Who are you?" Like, and
Who
it's
are
just
you?
little things like him, how you could even tell like he didn't really care. Like, not that he didn't care, but he really was less concerned with saving the civilians that were caught up in the fight versus making sure that he got Craven, and he got
Yeah, he
the
wanted
lizard.
Craven.
Yeah, it's just like, yo, I can't wait. And yeah, I agree with the people in the chat. This is going to end up being eventually it's going to end up being Miles versus Peter at some point when he starts to go too far, I think. Which I just can't wait to play this. I can't wait to get to the.
I know you
was
was giddy.
yo. This it's literally we every time we talked about Spider-Man 2 leading up to the reveal of it, everything that I said I wanted, they provided in the trailer.
Right.
So I'm just like, yeah, I'm super excited. But again, talk about lack of detail. That boat, lack of detail. That boat looked real basic. The water,
Mhm.
the water in the first two games, you're not really close to water too much, so it was really bad. They improved the water, but it's still fairly basic here too. It looks better when you see it in the fast movement of like Peter chasing, but like when you get closer to it, doesn't look super great. But again, these are things that they can fix before they get into launch. We get the further optimizing the game and whatnot. Also, definitely you can see how the SSD and the whole IO architecture of the PS5 is being put to use, because speeding through the city, like you saw it with Miles when he used his webs to slingshot himself, and then started to use his webs to kind of like jet stream his way through the city. The speed by which he did that, I remember the Insomniac dev saying that they couldn't, the speed by which you web swing in the first two games had to be slowed down because of the PS4 CPU, and that's not no longer the case because this is a PS5 only game, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, I'm super hyped. Go ahead, Bear.
No, like, dude, when I saw it, I was like, this is cool. So, and honestly, it's what took this show, seeing the Destiny stuff took it from a F to a D, and seeing this took it from a D to a C- for me. And I was like, yeah, this is really, really cool. And the one thing I really, really hope they do, I hope they give it the Grand Theft Auto 5 treatment, where you can seamlessly go between Miles and Peter without it being
that was great. That was great.
Yeah, I really liked how they did that. So hopefully that's something that's a game that you could do and trigger pretty much at any time. Of course, it probably lock you out at certain sections of the game where they're completely in different places and stuff when you're doing one thing as Miles or one thing as Peter.
if you're trying to take down, like, you know how like you would go into a warehouse and then you gotta clear the warehouse.
Yeah.
More than likely you can't switch to Miles when you're doing that, or Peter when you're doing that. But like if you're like in the open world and you're swinging around and it's like, oh, there's an alert, there's a carjacking, over in Harlem, you can just switch to Miles and take care of it, something like that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Of course, Venom's going to be in it because the symbiote's in it. But
Yes.
and we already knew that because the reason why we think the movie, well, I mean, they kind of like alluded to, I think the first teaser trailer kind of showed Venom a little bit, if I recall correctly. But the legendary actor, oh, what is his name though? The guy that played he has the best voice in the world. He plays Zoom on The Flash. He plays Candyman. Tony Todd. That's it. Tony Todd is doing the voice of Venom, and Tony Todd. These voice actors are great because either they don't have NDAs or they don't care about the NDAs for video games. They're just like, whatever.
They
Man.
don't.
I just do this on the side. This is nothing for me. I'll see if I want to see it. And then so Tony Todd came out and said that the game's supposed to come out in September. He just said it very nonchalantly in the interview. So it's definitely coming out probably in September, unless it gets delayed for optimization reasons. But so Venom's going to be in the game at some point, which is awesome. Best game show to the showcase, which is the reason why it's the last game show. It's just that even this alone wasn't capable of saving the show altogether, which is why
No, it wasn't.
as far as grades go, I gave it a D. It's a D show. There's just not enough there that is PlayStation first party that people were looking for. And frankly, they've gone too long without showing games that people have been excited for too long. Factions. Where's Factions?
Facts.
And people are like, oh, well, you know, maybe they'll show Factions at the Summerfest with Jeff Keighley's show. Maybe they will. Because they showed it before at Summerfest. But why would you... Summerfest is next month. Why would you hold off showing when you have a very much a lack of gameplay, of your own gameplay in this show? Hold off showing more gameplay for Jeff Keighley. This is your show. You would make your show lesser then to make his show better?
Yeah.
That's silly to me. If that's the case, that's silly to me. I actually kind of feel like it's not going to be at Summerfest because I think that like it's ridiculous that they would show it there and not show it here. So yeah, it's just not a very good show. Very disappointing show. And PlayStation needs to do better. You know, next year showcase. Like this really kind of like. It builds the pressure. This is going to start to be something that we see with Xbox, where when you disappoint people, the next time you're supposed to do something, the expectation has grown because you owe the people who are buying your products better, more. And now at this point, when they do their showcase next year, people are going to be expecting even more than what they were expecting with this one. All right, what's your grade? What are your thoughts on it?
C-. Destiny and Spider-Man saved it. It took it out of the failing grade to a C-, which is barely passing. I think honestly, if you look at the show objectively, I don't think it was a horrible show. It's just not what people wanted. It's not what people expected, and it doesn't line up with the expectations.
From doing the showcase for nearly 2 years.
And that's the problem. That's why I would say that's why I don't think it was a terrible show. I just think it didn't live up to the expectations of what people were thinking.
It's a mid show.
That's what I'm saying. It's a mid show, but what makes it terrible is because it's
been 2
the
years.
mid show that camouflaged itself in being something that everybody was hoping it was going to be. And granted, PlayStation never came out and said that they were going to do this and they were going to do that, but you got to be somewhat kind of.
There's an expectation regardless.
Yeah, that you haven't shown anything in over almost 2 years. So what do you expect people, unless you're going to come out and say, this is there, this is there, this is there, this is there, everybody's going to have their own wild expectation of what they think should be there based on the fact that you haven't showcased anything. And like I was saying earlier, they have a whole bunch of studios that have secondary teams that are working on other games. There's a lot of
and
stuff
we've
they're
known it
didn't
for
show.
years, and we still haven't seen what they're working on.
Right. I mean, and dude, they like, okay,
They got over
factions.
20 unannounced games that are in
Yes.
development. Like, where are they?
Right.
Like, yo, like, and look, and I'm sorry, like, you only gave one release date this year. You gave us teaser trailers that were like nothing. Concord's a nothing trailer. Marathon's barely anything. Fair Games is barely anything. So you gonna give me trailers for them? You won't give me a trailer for the Guerrilla Games, a multiplayer game their second studio's been working on. You won't give me a trailer for Cory Barlog's game. You won't give me a trailer for Factions. You're not giving release dates for any of these other games. So why can't I get a release date for any of this stuff?
Right.
It's just like, it's not like, and if you're saying it's because, well, those games aren't coming out anytime soon, you won't show gameplay for Fair Games and Concord, but you expect me to believe they're coming out next year. I had a, you know what it reminds me of, and this is a great example because it turned out to be true. When they showed the teaser trailer for God of War Ragnarok, and they said it was coming out in holiday of 2021, right? Was it?
Yeah.
They said holiday 2021, and everybody was like, yeah, right. Everybody said, yeah, right. And what happened? It got delayed. Of course, it got delayed. It was way too freaking early. Those games ain't coming out next year. And if they are coming out next year, oh man, they coming in hot. Real hot. So look, man, they gotta do better. We can move on now to let's do rapid fire these topics. Get on up out of here.
Okay.
Second topic of the
showcase to take the whole show.
What? I didn't hear nothing you just said.
Showcase to take the whole show.
Yeah, your mic is cutting in and out. I don't know if you're like hitting like your cable or something when you're talking or something, because it was like, yeah, like you stop being so animated. It's kind of chill.
Oh my. Oh.
What are you doing? See, like you did it. Whatever you're doing, you did it again.
What do?
Dude, I don't know what you're saying. Oh.
Did it something?
What? Okay. Yeah, fortunately, you gotta fix his bike. In the meantime,
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. So,
okay.
Supermassive Games is teaming up with Dead by Daylight to make a single player narrative kind of horror game. They're kind of games, but in the Dead by Daylight universe, which Dead by Daylight is actually one of those evolved kind of games that actually is probably the most popular one. It has got a pretty big fan base that plays the game. I've never played it. I think I've seen gameplay. It looks boring to me. But if it's got a narrative to it that people follow, okay, cool. And Supermassive's going to take that and run with it. I think that might actually be something that might help them, because Supermassive, I think, has struggled to make good games since Until Dawn. I think they struggle with making compelling characters, and they struggle with good storylines. And I think if they are taking or adapting someone else's IP into a game, that might actually end up being something that might make things easier for them. What are your thoughts on it?
I do think that it would definitely make it easier on them. I just also think that for the most part, the sharing of talent always definitely makes games better. One studio can help another studio with something that they're struggling with just to make it a little bit better. I feel like Supermassive has a really, really good pedigree, and them teaming up with Dead by Daylight can definitely be a beneficial to them. And then it would just, I think it would also get the name out there a little bit more for some of the stuff that they're doing. So I think it's a good idea, and I think it actually might work out for them.
Well, I hope it does because I really need them to make something that at least gets close to matching Until Dawn. They have yet to do that so far.
Yeah,
This
because you
game,
really didn't like what is it, Quarry?
I hate the Quarry. I hate
I know
that
you
game
said you
so
couldn't
much.
stand that
It's
game.
the dumbest. It's so bad. It's just it's a ridiculous, like the characters are stupid. The story doesn't make any sense. Literally, like all they had to do was sit in a boat on the lake, and they could have avoided all the werewolves the entire night. Get some snacks, hang out on a boat. They've been fine.
Right.
And then the fact that like it's just so like all the characters are stupid. It's just a bad game.
Right.
And I think for a lot of times that's what it kind of comes down to, where Supermassive, they do with the way they do their writing, they write characters into situations to kind of like generate drama and tension, but like how they get those characters into those situations is just stupid. Like for example, and I'm since I'm playing Man of Medan here, I'm gonna show you guys something. There's a part here. You know what? I don't think I didn't record it because I started playing this on PlayStation. I've beat it before on PC and Xbox, but I was just gonna like play through it on PlayStation. There's a part where the character that is portrayed by Sean Ashmore, who used to play Iceman on the X-Men movies, where they get into an altercation with some guys on a smaller boat, and it probably would have been like there was some damage to the guy's smaller boat. It was their fault. They were being jerks. But like Sean Ashmore's character decides, like, I'm just gonna be, for no reason whatsoever, like completely like out of nowhere, be an extra jerk by like throwing all this money into the water. And like, hey, oh, what? You got a hole in your boat? Here. Is this covering it? He's just throwing more money at them. And so what they do later on, they go like wait till it's dark, and then they go try to rob them because apparently you got all this money that you can just throw in the water. It's just stupid.
Right.
It's just like stupid, like decisions by characters. They end up like to get into situations where there's drama, and it's just. Or you can just create actually interesting characters that just naturally get into things like that. Like that feels more natural to people. Go, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
They did that with Until Dawn. They did not do that with any of their other games. And I don't want to end this beat another slow mo complaining about Supermassive again. But like, yeah, they just kind of suck at this stuff. Anyway, there's also some talk about Knights of the Old Republic. So, and not the good variety. It depends. I would say it depends
Definitely
upon.
not the good variety.
I would say it depends on your perspective. For me, I would say this is probably good.
Okay.
According to Jeff Grubb, our friend Jeff Grubb, shout out to Jeff Grubb. It looks like we probably won't see this game. This game probably won't come out from what he's hearing. And so if you aren't aware about what happened after this reveal, this very cool teaser reveal of Revan, that was at the PlayStation, the last good PlayStation showcase 2 years ago. Since then, Aspyr has been fired from doing the remake of of Knights of the Old Republic. They have leaked some, at least I think either Aspyr developers or former Aspyr developers have leaked some information to a YouTuber I saw. I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy did a very like long, detailed video, which I don't really believe half of it because it seems to be counter to reality, where these guys are talking about like they Aspire had amassed a level of talent the rival old school BioWare in regards to RPG making. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, Aspire has never made anything. They're a port studio. They ported Knights of the Old Republic. They don't make, like, you can't say they were better than or rivaled the old school BioWare. The old school BioWare made Jade Empire, Knights of the Old Republic, Dragon Age series, Mass Effect trilogy. Like, shut up. Like, what you talking? Baldur's Gate. Come on now, stop it, right? But they it seems like a lot of blaming going on, and that Aspire essentially took feedback from Sony and didn't take it very well, and then up and on their own fired their two top directors of the game, which really kind of just like almost forced the hand of Embracer and Sony and Lucasfilm Games to take them off the project because they weren't capable of really getting the job done. So Saber Interactive, which was supposed to be the support studio, is now the main studio. And I don't know what Jeff has heard, but maybe things aren't going well for that, which I wouldn't be surprised, because I mean, Saber Interactive, I'm not saying they're a bad studio, but they're more known for porting stuff and developing smaller titles. This is a freaking classic. This is one of the best RPGs ever made. I did make this tweet about this earlier, a few days ago, and I'll reiterate what I said in my tweet. If you can't get Obsidian, BioWare, Larian Studios, or any of the various, like, there are about 3 or 4 studios out there that are founded by the former BioWare developers that made this game and made their best games. Yellow Brick Games, Humanoid Games, Archetype Entertainment. If you can't get any of these people to make this remake, don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't tarnish this classic with a trash remake. The game came out in 2003. There is 20 years ago. There's a whole generation of gamers that don't know about this game. And if they looked at, I'll show you what it looks like now, and people aren't going to play this. They're not playing a game that looks like this. It's just not how it works. Like, people aren't going to play a game that looks that dated. No matter how great the story is, no matter how great the characters are, they're not going to play a game that looks like that. So you need to do a remake. This is why Capcom has decided, look, we were in a rut, and then we decided, well, hey, look, everyone loves Resident Evil 2. Let's remake Resident Evil 2. Oh man, it was great. Let's do 3. Let's do 4. EA, hey, everyone loves Dead Space. Let's remake Dead Space. Hey, everyone loves it. Remaking classic great games. It's fine. Demon Souls, everyone loves it. Go ahead and do that stuff, but get a good developers, great talented developers to get that job done. Aspire can't even port Knights of the Old Republic 2 to the Switch. There are people right now demanding Aspire fulfill their obligations for content they said they were going to put on it that they haven't done yet. They've passed their deadlines, and they're not responding to anything for people who spent their money and want what they spent money on. Yeah. That's not the studio that you want doing a remake of one of the best RPGs ever.
Not at all.
You got anything to add to this, sir?
Man. So KOTOR, it's a dang shame. It just seems like, first of all, it just everything about this was just wrong, just from the start of what studio was working on it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like right then and there was like the beginning of that death knell. Now, hopefully, we do still get the game, but it just feels like more trouble than it's worth at this point for something that a lot of people. I mean, let's be for real. If it does come out, people are going to buy it. It's going to sell. So it's not like it's going to be this missed opportunity for them to make revenue off of
I don't
it.
think it's gonna say. Look, okay, it's a Star Wars game, right? So maybe it sells just because it's Star Wars.
That's
but
what I'm saying. It was still just because it's Star Wars. But the thing is it going to have that? Is it going to have that lasting appeal past the initial offering of it being out? If it's not what people expect from a remake of KOTOR.
Well, here's part of, and I don't know if this is true or not. The reason why Aspire even got the opportunity to make this game is that prior to the deal, the EA's exclusive deal being fully up, they were able to somehow negotiate. I guess this was like a reward they may have gotten due to them doing all the port work they did for Knights of the Old Republic on mobile and everywhere else, that they would have, I guess, the opportunity to do a remake of the actual game.
Right.
I think what Lucasfilm Games should have did was buy them out. It should have bought out whatever that is, pay them off, and have someone actually good do it. Sony jumped on it, probably, and we they were being petty. They know this is a game that's known for their competition. They jumped on and made it a time exclusive for themselves. But then they see the game and they're just like, is this what we paying for? Because this don't look good.
Right.
And maybe that's why, because like it's been rumored that Xbox was approached initially for this, which makes sense. It's the game they published initially.
Right.
Co-published with Lucasfilm, the old Lucasfilm games.
Yeah,
and
the old Lucasfilm gang.
They turned it down. Maybe we were a bit presumptuous in getting on them for turning it down. Maybe they turned it down because they was like, we ain't trying to do it with them. I mean, I got Obsidian over here. We can make this sing. If they can't do it, we got In Exile that could do it. We got devs that could do this work, but I'm not working with. They're not going to get the job done. You know, like I'm just like, if this comes out, if it comes to be, it needs to not have anything to do with Embracer Group.
True.
Which kind of goes into our next topic. Embracer Group is having some issues. So Embracer Group very recently announced that they had a $2 billion strategic partnership with another company that they won't name that fell through. And their CEO was on in an interview, like, not like, you know, it was very Phil Spencer-ish, you know, where you could definitely tell he was not in a good mood. And he probably shouldn't have did that interview. But, you know, he wasn't very happy. And although there's a lot of speculation on who that strategic partner was, I think it's pretty obvious it was Amazon.
Right.
Amazon is publishing the next Tomb Raider game. They are also working with Embracer's IPs for adapting some of their properties, those IPs, to content for Prime Video. And so it kind of makes sense that they were already kind of filling each other out, and more than likely this whatever deal they were supposed to get done was supposed to be with them. It very much impacted what their forecast was Embracer's forecast was supposed to be. And it went. I think it went from like they were forecasting like 11 billion in revenue to down to 9, which not necessarily is like the end of the world or anything, but I think this has got some people speculating that the Embracer might be acquired themselves. I don't think it's that serious. I think it's just they. It tells me that they had a lot of plans for that IP that they got from Square Enix, and that the plans that they had are not quite what turning out the way they wanted them to be. So maybe it might end up being where now, like some of those studios or some of the IP might be up for grabs for another publisher that might want to adapt it or turn it into a game or whatever. What are your thoughts on all this?
The biggest thing with part of me feels like Embracer, it comes down to what are they going into these partnerships for? Like a lot of these partnerships, is it that are they going in to help with funding, or are they going in to just try to turn a buck?
Oh,
Because
they're just trying to turn a buck. They're just trying to turn a buck.
That's all they're doing. So it's
Look,
like, do I really
they
care?
bought this
if
stuff for
partnership
cheap.
failed?
They bought this stuff for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And then they already took Amazon for like double what they spent for the whole haul just for Tomb Raider.
Just
so,
for Tomb Raider.
like, I mean, and now I think maybe Amazon was like, look, we don't want all this stuff. We just wanted what we got, back up office. And I don't know. I'm speculating. I don't know the reason why it all ended, right? But clearly the plans they have for the whole thing aren't going to be what it is right now, and they gotta do something with it. They won't have to pivot with it. Like you wanted to make money off of this, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. Embracer sucks at making games, publishing, managing games. The games that they have made have been so bad, so many like there's just all their releases recently have kind of been ho hum. Like name them Saints Row. Like it's not been good. So they really need to be kind of partnering with other publishers that have a better handle on how to get the best out of the developer, how to manage things properly, how to handle situations better, market it better, yada yada yada. And it's just I don't think that's them. So like, sell the studios if you need to, I think.
Right. No, that's how I feel about it.
And then the last topic, which I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a lot to say about this. So last topic of the night, and then we're gonna get up out of here. And we definitely appreciate everybody that's come through. Love you guys. Bungie is vetting all the live service games for PlayStation. It is Bungie that is looking at these games and saying, that ain't gonna work.
Bungie out here firing people.
So it's Bungie that fired Deviation Games. No, seriously, like this report, let me go find it real quick. I think it came from Video Game Chronicles, I believe. Let me Forte, go ahead and speak on this while I find
definitely
everything.
So ever since Bungie had put out their Velocity GDC speech on, or
I found it. Can I do the quote real quick from Jim Ryan?
Go ahead.
So Jim Ryan said, this was at his a business webcast last Tuesday. He said, "We have been working with Bungie for almost a year, and the learnings in both directions have been very significant. They surpassed my expectations, and equally, I think Bungie is extremely excited by what they can take from SIE in terms of market reach, marketing, collaboration, and the ability to amplify their IP. We brought quite a lot to Bungie, just as they've certainly brought quite a lot to us. They historically have been a heavily US focused publisher. Their IP underexploited in key markets of Europe and Asia. Yeah. Where is it? What he talks about it. The learnings from Bungie have been very substantial in many areas. Of course, when you're developing live service titles, you require capabilities that you don't have when you're working on single player narrative driven games. And these capabilities that we've set up inside PlayStation Studios have been helped and guided by Bungie. We also more deeply understand what success means in live service. Historically, our games always work towards an end, and this is a large cultural shift. The launch of a game is just the beginning, and it comes with a whole set of different key performance indicators. We also work with Bungie on a pretty rigorous good grief, portfolio review process that we apply to all 12 live service titles that we have in development. And these are just brief examples of some of the learnings that we have gained from working with Bungie. So their rigorous review process has been developed by Bungie. And I mean, maybe Bungie isn't the one saying yay or nay, but it is their process that Sony is using to go yay or nay. So in light of some of the information that we know about what Bungie's process is that we learned from GDC last year, Forte, how do you feel about that?
So now, inherently, I mean, this is like the reason they purchased Bungie. You know, they purchased Bungie to be able to get not control of Destiny, but get the, you know, financial backing from what Bungie was able to do with Destiny. It makes them a lot of money. Bungie gets the support on the back end, but Bungie just wanted to make sure that they kept their independence. And I guess the only way they could do that is by saying, well, we want to make more games like ours if we're going to do that. And we want to be able to influence the landscape of all of the free-to-play games or just service-based games that come out under your platform. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Sony really doesn't have a leg to stand on because they're coming from a place of nothing. You know, the one thing I will say about other platforms like, you know, PC and Xbox, you know, Halo has kind of been a live service for a while, you know, just in other forms with like loot boxes and everything, because that was something that was very prevalent inside of Halo 5 when it came to like the rec packs and stuff. So I remember they made like 800 I think it was like $80 million in the first week or so in rec pack purchases. It was kind of crazy.
80.
So it was a lot.
It wasn't no $80 million in a week, man.
Yeah, actually, it was a lot. It might have been $8 million in a week. It was something stupid.
$80 million.
Stupid. It was still stupid how much they made off those rec packs in that game. I was like, people play this game mode, and then I played the game mode. I was like, well, the game mode is actually really cool. But Sony definitely needs the expertise in this because they're coming from a place of you know ignorance because they don't really know about it.
Yeah, but my biggest concern. Look, Bungie knows how to run a live service game. They know as far as like cadence of release and stuff like that, what needs to be done. They know what resources need to be applied to get those things done. The thing is that knowing what needs to be done and doing what needs to be done are two different things. And I think the state of Destiny right now is a good indication, a good example of why I kind of feel some reservations with all this. You look at that, go back to that GDC seminar, whatever the heck they did, and they were literally telling other developers, don't over deliver. They were like, you know,
no, that's definitely that did come out their mouth.
Pace things so that like, you know, you keep them wanting, but you're not burning yourself out. And it's just like, I'm not saying you make everybody crunch, but like when you're telling your developers, you know, ignore your community's complaints about certain things and then address them when you're ready. It's like, I don't like that. I don't like the way that sounds, and especially in light of like this game. Like right now, Destiny's broken. You got issues with the game. You got a lack of content issue. You got people complaining about a lot of stuff, and then like This is what you're teaching everybody else. I don't know. I'm not saying this. It's
Yeah,
guaranteed to be a problem. But I don't
well,
like it.
no, you are more than in the right, mindset of what could happen, and the fact that you're playing. Is this D1 gameplay?
This is Destiny 2 Witch Queen
Is it?
gameplay.
What is this? Xbox?
This is a PC. Why would you think this is Xbox?
I don't know. Maybe because it's that field of view ain't far enough back. What do you play at?
105.
Oh, that's 105. It's just so long since I watched. Oh, that is Destiny 2. I'm looking. I finally just saw the FPS counter in the top corner. I was like, why does this look so? It's so weird because it's been so long since I looked at this area of the game.
Yeah,
but
they probably took this out too. They think this
it's probably gone. I think this part is gone for the game. That's
Another problem of the way Bungie does things. Yeah, let's just retire
everything.
Let's just vault content you paid for. Oh, you want to get into our game for the first time, person who's never played Destiny? Yeah, good luck trying to understand what the heck's going on, because who knows where you're gonna start from. Like, you're not gonna understand anything because where you're starting from, the content wasn't created for new players, to onboard new players. But good luck out there. Like, it's just, like, what are you doing?
No, you're right.
Yo, I don't rock with them. I don't rock with how they do business, and I don't want them teaching Sony developers, hey, after 2 years, you don't need to keep that content.
So he said,
Yeah,
don't you do it.
They don't remove expansions anymore. They should have never did in the first place, Gregor. Should have never even been. It should have been a suggestion in the boardroom that quickly got shot down and moved on from, but they did it. So look, it is what it is. But like, they that needs to like not be things that get ideas that get spread to other developers working on games too.
That's true.
All right, my bad. Go ahead and continue, man.
No, you're good. So in general, I just hope that Bungie, because I don't want everybody, because it's the difference. All these studios can't be Bungie. I mean, there's not too many that can be. It's like 1,000 people that work there.
Yeah.
So in order, for them to put the content they put out in this game, in Destiny, is, they do it every 3 months. You get it's pretty clockwork now too. Now the way that it comes out is completely different. So most of the time it's perfectly fine, but then over the course of the last couple of seasons, and especially with the last DLC launch, it was kind of really bumpy when it comes to like getting everything up to code, when it comes to like quality control. So even they struggle with it too. So I just don't kind of like the fact that they're the ones.
I wonder
that
how many developers, how many of their like 800-900 developers are dedicated to Destiny specifically.
That's a good question at this point. That's
again,
why,
I mean, like, we know they're working on Marathon, they're working on Matter, which is, I think Matter is the game that is published by. Is that still being published by NetEase, even though they're owned?
Yeah, that was the one that NetEase gave the infusion for.
Okay, so they're working on like 3 different games at once. So
yep, and they have this, and they have this. I mean, not a deadline, but they have this thing about with Destiny. They want to see it to the end, which I get. But in general, it just doesn't feel good to know that all of these studios are going to be taking their cues from Bungie, even though Bungie does a really good job with it. Every studio can't be what Bungie is. So does that mean that we're going to cut more, like a lot of corners are going to get cut when it comes to different other pieces of content because they can't live up to the expectation of what those live service games are?
Yeah.
I kind of hope they're just there to like kind of tutor them and let them know what would make a successful one, instead of giving them like the exact blueprint of what, they did in Destiny and how they were able to keep Destiny as a financial backing. But a lot of these games aren't going to make it slow mo. You know, Bungie. I mean,
Yeah, one of
Sony
them
only
already
needs
did.
one or
Deviation
two.
Games is what we keep mentioning for those who don't know is that Deviation Games announced a partnership with PlayStation for a
Yeah,
live service first-person shooter. A lot of those guys were former developers or Activision that worked on Call of Duty, and then studios about the size of like 150, 175 devs, and then they laid off very recently 90 developers,
hmm
and it's kind of come out since then that the game that they were working on, a AAA first person shooter that would have been exclusive to PlayStation, got canceled. And so look, what happens to studios where the majority of your funding comes from a publisher, and then that game gets canceled, is that you don't need all those people no more. So all the people that you hired to work on that game, they gotta find somewhere else to go, and maybe the studio hasn't shut down yet because they are maybe working on something different, maybe something smaller scale. They don't, maybe they only need like 50 devs in order to get that done. But it's unfortunate to see people lose their jobs, but it is a part of the industry. Like games get canceled every day, and
Yeah.
it is what it is. But you know, I think this might be one of those games that like didn't fit the 12-step review process criteria that Bungie came out with. You know, it just didn't work.
That's true.
So
Nope, I agree with that. I think in general, it just ultimately comes back to uh Sony. I think the more and more Sony gets comfortable with being able to identify these things, they'll take more of a hands-on approach with those type of games. I just think right now they need somebody, unfortunately, like I keep saying, unfortunately, because Bungie is a really, really good studio when it comes to stuff like this. They proved it. But I think at a certain point, even Sony doesn't want to be beholden to just one dependent decision maker when it comes to just the overall thoughts of what these games are. I think they want to get to a point where they're like, yeah, we can kind of see what we like and what we don't like about these type of games and what's going to benefit us inside of this genre. And once they can kind of identify that for themselves, then I think they'll kind of take the reins on that. And I think that's when Sony's at their best, when they're the ones being the stewards of exactly what stuff hits their platform. Because right now, I think with a lot of this live service stuff, they're basically just playing catch up because they see where gaming is going, but their whole bravado and their whole ecosystem has been built on third person action game over the shoulder, gameplay. And now they're trying to, get more involved in different types of content, and this is just one way to do it, by having someone else that is really good at it be able to like give you some pointers on what to look for and what's going to be good and available for that type of gameplay.
yeah, it also seems very counter to how they've done things before. Like their approach with single player narrative driven games is that it comes out polished, very
Right.
very few bugs. They go through a very lengthy process of Q&A and bug testing and all the other additional things that you need to do to make sure that quality assurance is there. And then you get into the live service game, and then now you're really, as he even said, like he's learning that releasing the game isn't near the end of the
Right.
the production process, but the beginning. And so that's a whole different approach they have to go to about like, hey, at what point do we release it, knowing that like we haven't quite like got it super polished the way we used to with a single player game, but because we're going to continue to keep having way more people on staff working on this game than we would normally do. Like from what I've been told by developers is that you move, the game goes gold, in the bulk of your studio who was working on that game then goes to the new project. They transition to the new project. But if this is the beginning of everything, there is no transitioning to the new project. So do they start working on the next season? or
Mhm.
expansion? Or how do you divvy up those resources to make sure that like all of the target dates and the deadlines are being hit for you know a ongoing game and its additional content? It's hard to like determine that, and so I think
Right.
that's a process that they're going to have to learn and master in order to reach the level of quality that they were hitting with single player narrative driven games on the live service side of things. And frankly, there are very few people that are hitting that the way.
Very few at all.
Yeah, and Bungie's one of them. So they do have someone that makes it work. But as I've said before, and I don't want to like get too far into it again, I feel like Bungie has kind of lucked into the position that they're in. Not their position with Sony, but lucked into Destiny being the way it is. They've got a very loyal community. They do things that if other developers did those things, the end result isn't that the community just said, "Oh, okay, all right, you know, we'll wait. Okay, all right, sure, you know, they said no, all right." No, they leave your game, and then you're out of a job, and then there's no sequel, and there's no more content. That's what usually happens when you tell people, "No, we're not doing that. No, we don't care that you want this. No, this is what we're doing. No, we're sunsetting content that you already paid for. We're sunsetting weapons. We're nerfing all of this other stuff." Like, I mean, games nerf things all the time. Sure, you know, even Borderlands nerfs stuff, and it's a PvE game. But just the way they go about it, the Destiny community is unique in the sense that it takes it on the chin. Whereas other games, and even they even have established communities say, "F you, I'm out," and they don't just deal with it. You know, so it's wild. I think those are some things that you can't have, like these 12 live service games by developers who have not created a fan base, a dedicated fan base for their games yet, to be that kind of not arrogant. Arrogant's not the right word, but confident about. You know, you want to build up a community, not bully them. So
Right.
all right.
I agree.
Anything else you want to say before we get up out of here?
No, man. That was that showcase. That showcase.
Showcase.
That showcase, man. That showcase was something of legend. It's gonna go down in history. A lot of people upset about that showcase, man.
I think
they should be.
They should be. We gonna get up out of here though. Shout out to everybody for coming through. What time is it? It's almost midnight. Good grief.
Hey man, we knew it was gonna be a long show. I was already booked. I ate before I came down here and everything. I already knew it was gonna be long.
I have not ate dinner, but it's too late for dinner, so I guess I'm just gonna go to bed hungry. I'll drink some water.
Yeah, you ain't gonna go to bed hungry. You gonna eat.
I'm gonna drink some water.
That definitely will work.
Shout out to everybody again that everybody that came through. Forte, you want to pull up the channel membership so you can read those off real quick?
Channel membership.
So what are we going to talk about in this video today? Man, this is the third
these off the top of my head. All right, switching to channels and studio. Oh, shout out to these people. All right, I have mine right here. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to DefFlex27, Dragonheart Yobi, Stardust Acero, Ramon Terrell, Hargy Chini, Brat, Basement, Radio Arcade Podcast, Corey Hale, Erodimus, Slow-Mo Backslap, DJ Oris.
And that guy's me.
Really appreciate you guys and really appreciate all the love and support that you do on this channel. And really happy that you supported us this way.
What about you?
You and that daggone soundboard. Shout out to Rethadio, who just signed up for as a member. Shout out to him. Arcade 4247, Donnell Brown, Captain Crunch, Neil S, Jeff B Gaming, Percolator 9000, Steve Harlow, East Texas Alice, Franco Tech, John E, Dexflex 27, John the Don, Vay Babe, Dragonheart Yobi, Enrique, Hagi Shani, Truth Serum, Aradimus, Ramon Terrell, Homie One Kenobi, Gaming Forte, Corey Hill, Sawdust Cicero, and that guy Smitty. Again, yeah, we appreciate you guys supporting us in this manner. Check out the new badges that I think all you guys who have been members for at least 6 months should be seeing alongside your names and everything. Hope you enjoy that too. But we're gonna get up out of here. Forte, anything you want to say to people before we leave? Anything you want to tell them where to find you, all that good stuff?
Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube, Twitter,
are you being a guest member of RDX coming up soon or something?
Oh, maybe, I don't know. Wasn't on there yesterday. Yeah, hopefully show up on RDX again very soon. It's always fun over there with Dealer and the homies. Shout out to Zocker for launching his Zealous in Gaming podcast today. It was actually really good. Listen to that earlier today before we went live over here. So make sure you go check that out if you haven't. But with that, DPS podcast episode 135 will be next week on my 135. Yeah, 135 would be live on my channel next week. So we will see you. Actually, will it be live? Because you're not here next week.
What? Yeah.
Are you not here next week, or is it the week after?
Okay, look. I'm here. I'm here next week.
Okay. Oh, it'll be live next week.
That's the second. Wait, no, the first.
That's next week.
Yeah. Why would I not be here? Don't you remember what we got going on?
Oh yeah.
That's
right.
So look, we got
a
very
I'm tired, man.
special.
Delirious from this. Show got me. That PlayStation show got me dehydrated.
You always like this. Let's act like don't blame this on the PlayStation.
I'm blaming the PlayStation show. Leave me alone.
Okay, so we got a tentative, very special guest. Someone who is very, very talented individual who you guys may find very familiar that works in the industry. You may have seen him in a game recently.
May have heard him in the game too.
Seen and heard of this.
Seen and heard.
So if it doesn't happen, if something comes up, because this person's very busy and they're super busy, got a very busy schedule. If it can't happen this Thursday coming up, it probably will be after, probably in 2 weeks, because we don't want him to come on and not give him his due. You know, when we're talking about the recap of the Xbox showcase. So more than likely it will be like after that. But we'll have an announcement. If everything's good to go, we'll probably have an announcement on Tuesday of next week of who this person is. And we hope you guys really enjoy next week's show, because it's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah, and we appreciate those that appreciate us.
Absolutely. Hope you guys have a great rest of your morning, because it's already
it's tomorrow.
It's the next day. We getting up out of here. You guys, peace out. Enjoy your games. Have a great evening.
Enjoy slow-mo.
What?
Enjoy slow-mo.
Enjoy. We're leaving. Bye.
Don't